Welcome to Armchair Expert. I am your host, Dax Shepard. I am joined by the ever-intriguing number 8, Monica Padman. What number were you?
I think it was 11.
No, 11's
that's
our
11.
hero.
8. I think it was 8. I wish it was 11.
There was a super hot gal on the last season that bared some resemblance to Monica. Why am I playing the Stranger Things theme song, Monica?
Well, for one, you love it.
I do love it. I have this as a ringtone.
You do?
Yes, on my other phone.
Oh, yeah, you love it, and we have a very special Stranger Things guest today.
We do. We have your favorite Stranger Things cop, David Harbour.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I've run into David a few times socially, and I've just had this weird, fun connection with him every time I've seen him. But even with that said, he really over-delivered.
Yeah, we talked to him for quite a long time.
Some would argue too long.
And we would have kept going. He was so interesting.
He was really, really interesting. He's like
so smart.
A bit of a psychology historian of sorts.
He's an armchair psychologist.
He is.
For real.
And crazy honest and open.
Yeah. So lovely. A lot to learn from him.
He really would be more accurately put in the experts on expert category.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wait, can I say something about him real quick?
Yeah.
I think he was, well, first of all, people will learn this, but he got to do something very special.
Very special, yeah. Let's leave it for the interview. But yes,
okay.
a once-in-a-lifetime thing happened on this show.
Well, yes, and he is a very masculine man,
mm-hmm.
but I think maybe it's because he's so confident in his masculinity. He was also very sensitive,
very tender,
and thoughtful, and it was so nice.
It was, if I could make an analogy, it was like inviting a Kodiak bear into your house, and then you ask the Kodiak bear what he'd like to watch, and he says beaches.
Sure.
Wouldn't you say that's pretty accurate?
Okay.
Like, you're really terrified of this Kodiak bear, but then the Kodiak bear requests that you watch beaches.
But it wouldn't be beaches. It would be like, what's like a really...
Terms of Endearment?
No, a smart movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably... Maybe that's it. He wants to watch Squid and the Whale.
Sure.
Okay. Well, without further ado, please enjoy this tasty, tasty conversation with David Harbour. We get support from Quince.
Have you been wearing the Quince linen shirts?
Yeah, I've been wearing them a suspicious amount. Yeah, European linen ones, they're $34, which is genuinely insane for how nice they are.
It doesn't even make sense.
Well, here's the deal. They work directly with the factories, cut out all the middlemen, so you're paying for the actual quality and not some brand's marketing budget. Everything's 50 to 80% less than comparable stuff. I love it because it's all very classic and traditional, and I know I'm going to be able to keep it for a very long time, and the quality's off the charts.
That's true. The style is very consistent. Whatever you get there, you walk down the street, you're going to look good. They have these lightweight cotton sweaters, which I love for when it cools down at night. It's nice drape around your shoulders in the summer and then throw it on when it gets a little cool. And it's not just clothes. They do home stuff. Ding, ding, ding. Travel stuff, everyday essentials. It's all the same model, quality without the markup.
Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/Dax for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Dax. This episode is supported by Helix. All right, let's talk about something we both really care deeply about: sleep.
It's the most important thing. I've had my Helix mattress for years now, and I genuinely think it's one of the best investments you can make for your home. Mine still feels just like it did when I first got it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not one of those mattresses that caves in after 6 months. These things are built to last. And, I'm a side sleeper. I ordered a side sleeper, and I get hot, so I have cooling. And I can't tell you how much more comfortable it is to be in there not sweating and tossing and turning.
Cooling is really important. I've read that you're supposed to sleep a little bit cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have cooling. And they have over 20 models, so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You just go take their quiz and they match you to what actually works for your body.
Plus, they've got cooling upgrades, which heading into summer, non-negotiable.
Truly.
Go to helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/armchair.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
David Harbour, something very unique for me is happening today.
Oh, boy.
And for the folks that are only having an auditory experience, I just want to say, could you describe the chair you're sitting in?
I'm sitting in a large leather lazy boy-ish chair, although I have not extended. Is there a lazy boy factor to it or no? It's just...
Oh, it is. That's a lazy boy brand
really?
chair.
So you can actually pull them back.
Yeah, you got to pull the
there's a
handle
little-
on the side.
Oh, there's like a handle on the side. I'm sitting apparently in Mr. Shepard's chair. This is not the guest chair.
No, and in fact, it's. I'm glad I did this because I'm. Yeah. Good night, sweet angel.
Oh, yeah. I'm asleep for the rest of the podcast. You guys enjoy yourself.
Please join us for a beautiful 90-minute nap with David Harbour.
Exactly. Occasional talking in my sleep thing.
This is
And then
so
some-
disorienting.
It really is. Isn't it?
It must be the scariest for you.
So weird for me.
Yeah.
I'm so used to, but it's nice. It's nice to
It
just look
is.
straight out
And
instead
I-
of turning like that.
And I love
Do you look at
sharing
the
it.
guest or at Dax more?
Mainly the guest.
You do, right? So
Yeah.
you're used to craning your neck this way. So
Yeah.
this is going to be like a little bit awkward.
I'm gonna love
No,
it.
it's going to strengthen the other side of her neck
Yeah.
and make her balanced.
I'm gonna
She's
even
been
myself out.
she's been walking crooked for 6 months now.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
But yeah, this is like maybe the 50th interview, and I've only sat from that perspective. It's kind of like when you're a passenger in your own car. Of course, you live in New York, so you don't
I
really.
hate that.
Can you relate to that? Do you drive
yeah.
at all?
I mean, I have a car. Yeah, I bought a car. I came out here in 2013, and I did a very ill-fated television show. 13 episodes of a very ill-fated television show, and I just bought because I love stick shift.
Sure.
And so I bought a crappy Mustang stick, but a new,
A V8
it's a
though?
rental car is what it
Okay.
is, without Sirius radio and without automatic transmission. It's just a gray Mustang that I still have.
Oh, you own it still.
Oh yeah.
Does
But
it have the V8 or the V6?
No, it's the cheapest
Okay.
brand of Mustang available. It was super cheap. It's great though, but yeah, I love that car. Every other human being in my life thinks it's the worst car they've ever seen.
Because of the douche factor, or yeah.
And also the fact that it's not even lime green. It's like a solid gray. Like it's taking itself
very muted.
seriously. No, it's like you bought that
And-
because you thought it would look good.
You got an understated
Yeah.
muscle car with the V6. There's a lot
and
of
it's
red
new,
flags.
2013. It's not like a 65 or something. And it was they offered me the 10-year warranty.
Extended warranty.
10-year warranty.
Really? Did you
Can
get
you
it?
imagine? No.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't.
You get the least warranty ever. Isn't that what you always do?
I
I never get the Best Buy insurance.
My father was a car salesman all growing up.
Okay.
And that's where they're making their cheddar. It's all about the warranties. That's where
Yeah.
that's where the dealerships dip in their beak into the honey jar. Is that a saying?
I mean, I don't know that birds,
slathering up their beak.
that
in the
weird bird that hangs around your kitchen.
Yeah, I'm a little off kilter because I'm on the wrong side of the room.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting
Rob's also
interview.
photographing the wrong side of my face. There's a lot of things that are concerning me right now.
So everybody take it easy. It's going to be fine.
You're going to guide us through.
get-
Did
Yeah,
you
I'll take
always
you.
want a Mustang? Were you a
That's a
kid
good
that
question.
wanted a
No,
Mustang?
you know what I wanted when I was a young kid? When I was 15 years old or 14 years old, I wanted a Trans Am
Oh,
with
sure.
because I think
Chicken
it was
hawk on the hood,
Yeah,
Smokey and the Bandit style.
is that? I mean, I remember the Trans Am was the kit car from Knight Rider,
Okay,
right?
that's the one you wanted. That was
no,
yes, so-
I wanted the one with the eagle or whatever.
yeah, it's a chicken hawk.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
It is actually a chicken hawk.
It's actually a chicken hawk.
A chicken hawk is a creature.
Yeah, that lives on planet Earth and on the hoods of many 70s Trans Ams.
Is it a Pontiac? A
Pontiac Trans Am.
The Pontiac co-opted the chicken hawk.
Yeah, I think it's the F-body platform. And on that platform, you got Camaro in the 70s. Camaro, Berlinetta, Trans Am, Firebird. Those were your four
Jesus.
General Motors.
You're like a car guy.
Yes, I am.
Big
Okay.
time.
I was
I just
slog through the acting so that I can buy cars.
I'm a little bit of a car guy, not so much that stuff, but I remember like when my first car actually was a '64 Volvo 122.
Oh, sure.
Do you know anything about the 122 series of Volvo
No.
and stuff?
Oh,
okay,
no.
well it's interesting. They're built to last. This one had we think over 1 million miles because
my
the
goodness.
odometer had gone back. They don't have 1 million. The odometer had gone back to like 2,000
Yeah, it's only
miles,
6
and
digits.
and it had no floorboards.
Okay.
So it was like a
Fred
Flintstones
Flintstone
car.
style.
Yeah, you could put your feet on the ground. So we put plywood on there, and it had a block engine and a fuel pump. So I could do all my own repairs. It had no power steering. It was all rack and pinion.
And it was also a stick, I'm imagining.
It was a stick, 4 on the floor, and a big stick. Like it would come like this. Off
like a
the,
semi-stick.
Yeah, like big and loose too.
Oh, yeah.
You would,
Nice.
A lot of
like to
play.
get it into,
Yeah.
be like,
And
it was like conducting an orchestra. You know?
Yeah, and when you're driving it down the road, did you ever find that you just kind of play with it in
Oh,
gear,
hell
like
yeah. You know,
bat it around a little bit?
and it was like, I remember it would leak brake fluid as well.
Probably the worst fluid you could be leaking.
Exactly. Because I'd be going down the highway at like, I was one time going down the highway at like, like 60 miles an hour. And you press on the brakes and there just was no brakes.
Okay, right.
And I remember pulling up the emergency brake and that not doing anything either. That was broken. And so I decided to
no.
put it just into reverse because I'd ruin the transmission, but I would stop the car, right?
Sure.
And I was so adrenaline junkied up because I was terrified that I was going to die that I pulled the stick over because the reverse was like towards you and up. And I broke the stick shift in half.
Now you just broke your last remaining.
Exactly. And so I just wheeled it over this side of the road, and there were snowbanks. So I just hit it on some snowbanks, and I finally. It was a Mission Impossible situation. Though.
Yes.
It was like
I'm
put
trying
Tom
to
Cruise in
think
an old Volvo, and that's a movie.
Because your only option besides the snowbanks was to open both doors, create some wind resistance, and try to scrub some speed.
I really wish you'd been there, Dax.
Maybe pop
I
the
really
hatchback,
wish
pop
you
the
were
hood.
riding shotgun, so we could have had that experience where you were like, "Dude, open the window!" Like that.
Pull the hood. Pull the hatch.
Throw some sheets out the back. We'll make a parachute, man.
Basically, when you're landing on an airplane, you see those flaps go up.
And that's what it is?
That's what that's what we'd be trying to replicate.
That seems like very little material to stop an airplane moving at 400 miles an hour?
Yeah, well, I would imagine when you hit the runway, you're probably at around 100. It's my guess.
Really? When you're landing
Yeah.
a plane, you're only at 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay.
They're flying at around 550 miles an hour.
Right.
And they're up at 30,000. But as they're, because the reason they're dropping is we're scrubbing speed, and then as we land, now the thing about those
we're actually
cabs,
dropping because we're slowing down.
yes.
That makes sense, but it's
and then-
terrifying when
Yeah,
you
I
think
don't
about
like-
it. Like,
I don't
And they're
like
also
that.
angling the nose up, right? So now the bottom of the wings are creating all this forward resistance. But anyways, when those flaps come up, I don't know if it's really to scrub speed as much as maybe force the nose then down. Or keep it up. I don't really know. Maybe it's more about the pitch of the thing, but I do know that they reverse those thrusters, right? So they're spinning one way, the fans on the jet engine, and then as you land, they reverse the thrust, and they have to put some flaps up to help the air go in the right way. And
Wow.
So they're actually start reverse thrusting.
I have another.
What if that was the moment you went dead asleep?
I mean, I'm struggling
Put it
to
in
stay
writing.
awake.
That
I mean,
was too long.
Again,
That
I
was too
love
long.
it, but I am struggling. This is very comfortable, and the sun's just creeping
yeah.
over. It's very warm leather.
And then it bored the fuck out of you.
This
with
was crazy. So I had to get an MR. It's not an MRI, but it's something for your chest,
okay.
like an MR something.
An image,
For your heart?
An
An
imaging.
image thing, yeah.
Okay.
And they
Not an echocardiogram, though.
No,
Okay.
like you actually go in the MRI machine.
Okay.
But he was like, I was talking to my doctor about the radiation, and he was like, yeah, it's about the same as one flight from New York to LA.
Really?
I was like, what do you mean, dude?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, when you're up that high in the atmosphere, flying 6 hours from New York to LA, That's radiation.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, God, I make that trip a lot.
Quite a lot.
Well, think of the poor flight attendant.
Interesting.
Well, that's what he said. He said apparently flight attendants have a higher rate of birth defects as a result of this.
Really?
Wow.
Because of all the radiation up there. Yeah. They should be getting hazard pay, right?
Now, I read this in Monica will back it up in the fact check, but what I read is the discovery of a microwave other than the one we use, the reason they figured out that it could cook food was that the radar on those planes and the nose of the plane was microwave radar. And they would leave it on when they were parked, and the guys that were cleaning the windshield
would cook eggs on them?
would no, their insides would get burned. They'd have internal burns. They'd get all these stomach pains, and then it was finally discovered that they were having internal cooking, and that the microwave.
Oh, that's
Internal
awful.
cooking.
Because the way I'm going to stop. I promise I'll stop after this. But the microwave, the way it's cooking your food, right, is that microwave light waves, they interact with water. They don't pass through water, so they hit the water and they make the water accelerate. And that's what creates the heat in your food, is the water accelerating from the impact of the microwave. So the microwave was going into the human's body and accelerating all the water in the human. Yeah.
Is there like a microwave weapon out there? Is there like some kind of microwave gun?
So glad you asked. I have one in the I have one in the
feels
garage
like
that I want to use.
some DARPA,
Yeah.
like future weapon or something.
There has to be, right?
Let's get. Oh my God! I feel like this is we're already making the movie. Tom Cruise in an old Volvo with a DARPA microwave weapon.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
the clash of super cutting edge technology and yet the old Volvo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just writes itself. Oh,
You're a car guy, an airplane guy, and a microwave guy.
And most especially a microwave
Yeah.
guy. You grew up in New York.
Did we introduce him?
I did. I said David
Hi, I'm
Harbour.
David Harbour.
Oh, there we go.
I said, could you describe the seat you're sitting in?
I'm sitting
that's
in the
right.
big chair.
Yeah. That's right.
My name's David Harbour.
But you grew up in New York, and did you grow up upstate, as we would call upstate New York?
You know, people say upstate, but no, Westchester County. So White Plains, New York, which is, yes, it's 40 minutes up from the city. But what I consider upstate is like Albany and beyond.
And so, and no one's using the term mid-state, are they?
No, suburbs.
Okay, suburbs.
Right? Suburbs.
So you were in the
Yeah, the
suburbs.
standard, middle affluent suburb.
What'd your dad do, or your mom?
Real estate. I mean, it's when we were growing up, we had like a very like modest house on one of those streets that looked like the 50s or whatever. Whereas like little or like I actually went out to Jersey recently with my girlfriend. Like they all look like this. They're like little houses on like little plots of land. So everybody's got a front yard and they're divided by fences and stuff. But it was like a perfect looking street and just a million houses lined up and little front yards. And like we all used to go out and play like box ball.
Sure.
Did you ever play box ball?
I never
with
have.
It's
But I feel like I've seen it in a Scorsese
yeah,
movie
sure,
or
of
something.
course. It's like chalk outlines and stuff like that. And
How does the box come into it?
you draw like 4 boxes in the street. You draw like a chalkboard of 4 boxes, and then you have one of those balls like a kickball, like a red kickball.
Yes,
and
yes.
you hit it into each other's box, and if it bounces off the person, then you move around the circle
sounds
depending upon your
familiar.
rank.
So not only have I played it, I fucking loved it, but we called
you
it
go.
Foursquare. In
Oh yeah,
Foursquare.
Foursquare. Okay,
Foursquare.
Foursquare. Yeah.
And I had I'm so ashamed to admit this, but I had figured out a way to cheat at that game. And I can't remember now how I was cheating, but I do know it's one of the few times in life I cheated. And I was really quite good at that game, but solely because I was cheating. I can't remember
Seems
my
like
hat.
a hard game to cheat at.
I had figured it out. I also cheated at the shot put. I was on the track team, and I cheated at shot put.
How does one cheat at shot put?
Because you're not allowed to throw the shot put. You have to put it
from your
right?
shoulder, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and you have to push it out. But I had refined this very deceptive throw. Like I was still coming from here, but I think I was a lot of wrist, and I was rotating a bit and not getting caught. And I had a pretty good shot put, but I know I was cheating at it.
Do you think everyone was doing that?
I hope so, because I
Yeah.
feel bad now as an adult, because there were guys that were much like heavier than me and shit. And by the way, if you're super heavy, that's your sport in school. I shouldn't be robbing that from you because I've figured out how to throw the shot.
Amen.
Right?
And representing all the heavy guys out there.
Were you chubby
I'd
as
like
a kid?
to say fuck you.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, as an act of apology, please sit in my chair for the remaining interview.
Thanks.
Were you a chubby kid?
Yeah, like I mean, I go through phases. You know what I mean? Like I have, I would go through phases. I do remember.
I'm only asking about your physique because I feel like I've got a right side how much women have to talk about their.
No,
figure.
I'm down for it. I mean, I think it's a fascinating thing. It's just there. I mean, and our culture is obsessed with it, and and in fact, I myself am obsessed with it and suffer body dysmorphia in many different ways as well.
Me too.
And also, one of the things that I would love to see, just in general, in art too, especially, is like more embracing of bodies that are weird or different, or what we consider weird and different, and like the things that are attractive about people is not so much these external things, but like, you know, who they are, who their soul is, and how that is expressed. And I'm always encouraging that. So I love to talk about my own body issues because I think it's a weird thing that.
Well, I think, by the way, about 99% of us can relate. To it. I don't care what you look like. You're not seeing in the mirror what other people see. That's just almost a given.
I know. It's a weird thing.
And before, I should have said this before I asked you anything about your body, because there's been two great examples for me in the last couple of years where I looked at someone and I was like, fucking absolutely, that's how that person should look, and they're so attractive. You're one of those people. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you at all.
Oh my God.
Let me walk you just through.
Charmer.
No, I'm dead fucking serious. Here's what happened. I think I first saw you acting in the Newsroom. I've already seen you act. You were in Brokeback Mountain in a lot of movies I've seen you act. But in Newsroom, I like became very aware of you. And then, of course, Kristen and you are friends from way back.
We've known each other from way back.
But so I was aware of you, and I liked you, and I thought you were a very, very good actor.
Oh, thanks.
But within the opening 5 minutes of Stranger Things, when I meet you, I think we meet you in the shower, or you get in the shower within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and then you
I walk out,
outside.
I smoke a cigarette with my shirt off and everything. Yeah.
And I haven't had that moment since Poltergeist. Do you remember Craig T. Nelson in Poltergeist pushing his stomach in and pushing it out and pushing it in? That's how a man was when I was growing up. And then something happened where every dude has a six-pack in movies. I know. And then I became obsessed with it. And I was watching... I don't know what your personal story is with your body, but when I was watching those scenes in Stranger Things, I was like, this is what a fucking man should look like. Looks like a goddamn grizzly bear is about to go out and do some work. He looks so fucking sexy. And which I have no problem acknowledging when men are sexy. I didn't get that vibe in Newsroom, but fuck did I get it in Stranger Things right away. That you have such a masculinity. It's so attractive. It's crazy attractive.
Thanks. But here's the interesting thing about all that stuff is that there's something about taking your shirt off that inevitably should be somewhat of a vulnerable experience. And so often in movies, when I see people with their shirts off, it's like this armored thing where they're like psyched to like take it off or something. And
I'm guilty of it.
I'm like, that's a vulnerable thing to do, to expose yourself to someone, and it should feel vulnerable. It should feel intimate. And so whether or not you like it or whatever, like it should feel intimate. And so in that way, I think that, you know, it is so weird because I think we do have to play these mental games with ourselves just to put ourselves in front of camera anyway.
Sure.
And I think one of those things is to perfect this sort of impenetrability. And so one of the big things for me, even going into that scene in Stranger Things, was to like be vulnerable enough to be embarrassed about my body or to just feel like human about it. You know what I mean? And
but you're also playing the mental gymnastics of you're alone in your home. So as much as I might think about my body once it's time to have a shower scene in something, in my house when the doors are closed, I'm walking around, I have fucking cellulite on my ass. God knows what's going on. I don't even think about it. I'm pretty liberated if no one's looking.
That's interesting.
Are you liberated when? Oh, interesting.
I mean, I don't know if I am. I have a tendency for self-hatred that tends to pervade whether or not someone's observing it or not. Like, I myself feel it or whatever. Like the amount of times that I'll pull up my pants during the day to get them at a certain thing or just like avoid a mirror is like another thing I love to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that yeah, I think my self-hatred stays with me whether or not people are paying attention or not.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Auto Trader. All right, if you've been putting off car shopping because it sounds like a whole thing, buying your car online on Auto Trader makes it way easier, really. You can shop tons of cars online, compare prices, check financing and trade-in options, all from wherever you are. And if you want to start online and go to the dealership for a test drive, you can do that too, really. What I like is the flexibility. Start online, finish at the dealer, or the other way around. Your info stays with you, so you're not starting the process from scratch. Plus, you're working with local dealer listings, so you've got real people helping behind the scenes. And when you're ready, you can pick up your car or have it delivered. Really. Buy your car online on Auto Trader. Really. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high-yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So, Monica, here's something that really stuck with me. BetterHelp's 2026 State of Stigma report surveyed 2,000 Americans and revealed that 85% of Americans believe getting support is wise. Yet 74% say society discourages people from doing so.
That's a huge gap. Most of us agree therapy is a good thing, but there's still something holding some people back from actually going.
Right. And I think that's where just talking about it, normalizing it makes a difference.
I mean, as you know, I'm obsessed with therapy. I've been in it consistently for years and years and years. And I have said this and I shouldn't say it, but I do think if you're struggling and you've been struggling for a while and you haven't sought therapy, I judge you a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, I know. And I got to go to therapy to work on that, but also there are options for you. You can help yourself. And BetterHelp makes that first step easier. They match you with a licensed therapist based on your needs. And with over 30,000 therapists and 12 plus years of experience, they typically get the match right the first time.
Don't let stigma stand in the way of support. Start therapy with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Dax. That's betterhelp.com/Dax.
Confidence. It's listening to your gut. It's moving forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. For nearly 160 years, Pacific Life has helped people keep their promises, building confidence for generations. Whether you're confident in your financial future or just beginning to envision it, we're here to help. Ask a financial professional how. Pacific Life. The power of a promise. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York, Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, my self-loathing's like always on fire, but not necessarily for the physicality when I'm by myself.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah. But
where does yours manifest itself? Where does it take it?
Oh, well,
I mean, you seem like a really smart dude.
Because of my airplane stuff?
Because of the microwave information?
Exactly. Like you seem to have, so I wonder if that's part of the neurosis.
Of course
it
is.
Is like, I'm going to study up and like find a lot of bullshit so that I can feel like I'm a smart person.
Well, at the risk of making my listeners hear it over and over again, but yes, I was in learning disabled all through elementary school. I have dyslexia. I have a huge chip on my shoulder about being smart. It's nauseating.
Awesome.
I leave every party I go to in the car going, dude, they get it. You're smart. Shut the fuck up.
Wow. Okay.
But
that's so interesting.
And yet the other half is just real interest. I am really interested in a ton of stuff, and I really like talking about it. So it is tricky because some of it is my neuroses, and some of it's just genuine interest in how an airplane lands. Right?
Yeah. Of course.
So it's always hard to figure out, right? Like how much is just Do you find that that's hard to navigate? Like, what?
Of course. That, like, I mean, but also the things, your neuroses make up your personality so much that it's like almost impossible to separate the two. Like, I am interested in this because of the so the interest is genuine, but also the genuine interest comes from the subconscious response that's been going on since you were probably 3 years old.
Yeah, rooted in some kind of trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, totally.
So when you leave a party and you're like giving yourself a nice inventory on the ride home, what kind of things do you think? Like,
that's
because you're not trying to impress
I just
people.
don't go to the party.
Smart.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never think, and this to my detriment maybe, like I never think I'm not smart.
Great.
Like I'm actually the guy who I feel like I can hold my own with. And in fact, one of my things that I love to do is be provocative with people that consider themselves book smart. And I think that's part of my upbringing was like, I went to Dartmouth and it was, I was very much an artistic kid who was sort of trapped in this world of the intellect where the intellect was, paramount and people thought that they were, knew what was going on. And I was like, I wanted to poke holes in that. So, I remember I was like 24 years old and I did a Tom Stoppard play in New York. Okay. And I remember, Tom Stoppard.
I don't know Tom Stoppard.
Okay, so Tom Stoppard is like, in terms of plays, he's written tons of kind of brilliant plays. He also wrote that screenplay Shakespeare in Love. He's considered like one of the great intellectuals of one of the great. He's Czech, but like one of the great British intellectuals of like our time. Like he's considered by very heady people to be very brilliant. And I remember being 24 years old and like just getting in vicious fights with him.
Oh, really?
Just wanting to attack his self-assuredness. Just sort of rip apart intelligence in general and like show him that he didn't understand his own writing, that he didn't understand, like, because
what
I
a great goal.
So but that's the thing where like I don't get intimidated by intelligence. I actually want to tear it down because I do often feel like that sort of self-assured intelligence can often be create the worst shit in the world.
Absolutely.
So
what was your general attack on him, if you can recall? Would
you
say
for
like
that particular thing, it would always be about that I understood his play better than he did,
like on an emotional level?
On a visceral level. I mean, experiential level. Just that, like he's writing about things which are concepts and ideas, and they're clever and kind of fun, but that like the lived-in nature of it was somehow false unless this particular thing was added to the character, or unless this happened or this happened. He'd be like, no, it's just meant to be this. It's just, it's just meant to be. He's just saying to him like, da 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 da. And I was like, no, man. Like you're
you're missing the whole point.
Yeah, you're missing the point of like what you're. But I, that's just sort of been my general like MO is I kind of, and I think it's because I, to a certain degree, I grew up with it, and then, sort of going through the system, like all the teachers and sort of various mentors and stuff. There was just a lot of like intellectualism from like. And
did you feel like you weren't getting something that intellectualism was standing in the way of?
Yeah, because I was always like this weird artist who wanted to talk about things like, the fact that I take a shit or whatever. Yeah. And like I also felt.
Did you have siblings? Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister. Okay. Yeah, much younger, 7 years younger.
Same here.
Oh, really?
We're
Wait,
the same
are you the
age.
oldest?
Yeah. No, I'm the middle child. I have a brother who's 5 years older than me and a sister who's 6.5 years younger than me.
Interesting. Okay. I'm the oldest.
Right.
And I was the only child for 7 years. For 7 years of my life. Are you're
8 years older than my brother.
Wow. So you were an only child for 8 years.
Yeah.
And your brother came along. Was that an unplanned, happy,
of course.
A surprise?
Of course. Big
Mine
surprise.
as well. So you were meant to be sort of an only child.
Well, I wanted to have a sibling for so long, until I was like 5, and then I was perfectly happy being an only child.
Okay.
And then there was a big surprise.
And so, do you have only child syndrome?
That's probably
explain some attributes of it, because I would be better to diagnose.
Tendency to be alone, whether you like it or not.
Interesting.
Like you search out. Like separation or isolation.
Yeah. And in that way is like living in, I think it sort of relates to this, living in fantasy to a certain degree.
That for sure. I have,
And also, I think there's a certain amount
Is shortness one of the
being
like
short.
physically?
Yeah, like
Being
being
really
physically
small.
short.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's worked on me. No, I think it's just sort of I would say just a tendency to be alone. Like I do find myself as a result of, because when I was growing up, like interaction with people, like I was sort of safest. Whether or not I was happiest, I don't know, but I was safest and I felt the most at ease when I was on my own. Whereas people with brothers and sisters, they feel a lot of ease, like at parties or at like with other people, and I don't. I've never been that way.
Yeah, that's really fascinating because our firstborn, who's only 2 years older than our secondborn, but just watching her interact when she started preschool versus when the younger kid started preschool, it's night and day because she'd only interacted with adults.
Well, that's the thing, right? You
Yeah.
you identify with parents as opposed to identifying with someone who's
Yeah,
just
we
a
go,
couple
every
years
time
old.
we'd pick her up from preschool, she was like in a deep conversation with her teacher at like 3, but she
as
would
opposed to
not.
just like pulling some other kid's hair, which you should be.
Yeah, she's
exactly.
like, I don't get it. You guys are like, what are you rolling
Right,
around
like-
on the ground? For what? To what end?
There's things to talk about.
Yeah, where's this going? Are you en route somewhere? Yeah, and then the littler girl, she's just like a social butterfly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of unavoidable these dynamics, right?
I think
to a
so.
comic level,
Yeah,
it's so predictable, right?
yeah. I mean, and it's funny. Like, I don't know if I would change it. I think that you have a bit of an easier life. I think that the first child, the only child, has more of a difficult life. I think a little more intensity about experiencing life in that way. Like, whereas I think that, but I don't know. Like, what's your experience being
what's
in the middle?
really funny though is as I'm thinking about myself, I'm now wondering if these descriptions are like astrology,
Right,
Where they
you can-
appeal to everybody, right?
Exactly.
So I was very much a loner because one kid was a teenager and nuts, and the other one was a baby. And so I was just in my room by myself, like avoiding the warfare.
You weren't seeking attention in that way?
Fuck yes, but I
Okay.
mean, look at me.
I know.
I'm wearing a sleeve's T-shirt, and
I know.
I have a podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
It's disgusting how much attention. But I didn't seek it in the house. I sought it at school, amongst my friends, and
Right.
I wanted endless attention outside of the house.
Right.
But at home, I knew my role. My role was like alleviate the tension between.
Oh, so you're
all
the
these
golden
people.
child.
That's probably accurate.
Were you?
I think
Very
yeah.
charming, making jokes.
Yeah,
Like,
well, just
keeping
trying to
everybody calm.
Yes, trying to alleviate stress.
Divorced parents?
Yeah, divorced parents at 3. You know what? So
At
maybe it's something about the
3.
chair.
Me too.
Because you're definitely interviewing me.
It's definitely
Just
switched.
really
The
interesting.
chair, you flipped it on me. I was trying to learn about your childhood. Now I'm like deep in the recesses of my own. But this just happened. My stepfather died of cancer recently, and I was up there, and it was all of us kids and my mom. And I found like I just stepped right into it. I'm making the most inappropriate jokes you could ever make at a deathbed. And I'm like, oh, this is what I do. Like, I'm trying to cheer everyone up. This is stressful, and here I go. Let's get started.
I mean, you're aware of it now, right?
Yeah.
Did it take you? I mean, it's so interesting because I struggle with these same concepts, right? Like the idea of like being myself as opposed to like entertaining or being some version of myself that other people like. Did
Right.
you ever struggle with that?
It doesn't bother me. I have great
Okay.
acceptance over the fact. Like, even in high school, I enjoyed being a part of so many different groups. Like, I was super into cars, so I was around a lot of gearheads. But then that wasn't artsy enough for me, so I was friends with the snowboarders who were also artists. You know, like, I wanted all, and I recognized that I just code switched as I went through all these groups of friends.
Oh, okay.
And I've always liked that. I've never, like, fought that. I don't think it's you're fraudulent because you have facets. Do you feel fraudulent when you're exhibiting facets?
No, but I do know that there are ways that I hyperextend, let's say, in certain ways to entertain or please people that make me feel compromised in a way that
Okay.
like I wish I didn't do.
Like in a codependent way?
I guess so.
Like you'll
I
hurt
don't know what
yourself to regulate someone else's emotions?
Yeah, or I'll just like sort of feel this pressure to behave in a certain way where I wish, like, I'm very bad with conflict. It's the reason why I'm drawn to acting or whatever. It's because I know the ends of stories, I think, that I tell, and I know how conflict turns out or something. Like, I do actually think that in some ways it's related to reliving trauma that I do like to do in some way. Did you see, I know everybody's kind of talking about it, but I just saw it a couple nights ago, and it is, I think it's the best thing on television I've seen in a long time, is that Nanette special with
We haven't seen it yet.
oh my God. I mean, it's beyond. It's like half an hour of a comedy special on Netflix, and then just halfway through it just changes and becomes this like performance art piece about rage, where she basically deconstructs all of Western civilization.
Wow.
She deconstructs comedy itself, because she says that, like, she keeps saying she has to quit comedy because she has to tell jokes. And these jokes can't be the full story because there's no relief of the tension. And at one point, I don't know, the way she experiences a joke is that it's reliving a trauma without the actual full story, without the full narrative. And so she's sort of trapped in her pain in a certain way. There's this one story where she's at a bus stop hitting on this guy's girlfriend. The guy comes out and is like, "You hitting on my girlfriend?" And she tells a joke about it, but she can't tell you. And then at one point she says, "I can't tell you the part where he came back and beat the crap out of me because it's not part of the joke." So she constructs these narratives that are ultimately very, what she considers sort of self-hating, I guess, right? And reframes her narratives in these joke ways that are very destructive to who she is as a human being, and actually to her own real story, which is like who she is as a human. And so during the special, kind of what you see is, you see her
real
emerge.
story.
You just see a woman emerge. And
That's
it's
awesome.
like, it's stunning. I mean, I was, for hours afterwards, I was just like my nerves were, and I don't.
That's a lovely feeling, isn't it?
Kind of. I mean, it's unnerving to watch too.
Yeah.
But it's truly art. I mean, I watched it and I was like, this is why I make art. Like,
Right.
this is why we do this.
I said this to you the last time I saw you, that you remind me so much of my TV brother and friend Peter Krause.
That's so funny. I used to get that. You know what was so funny was actually, in terms of how I look, like, I used to get the combination of what was the show they were on about death?
6 Feet Under.
Yeah, it was like him
my God,
and
it
Michael Hall with the brow or whatever.
That's
So it's like the
true.
two of them had a baby.
Yeah.
I could
If that
see
was possible.
But forget the physicality. He thinks so similar to you.
Oh,
that's why
really?
that's why I love talking to him. He
funny.
has a very thoughtful, like, in-depth way of evaluating the world that I love and I find really refreshing. And
Wait, didn't you guys do a show together?
yeah, Parenthood.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's just the lovely.
Wait, was Sally Field?
Close. That was called
Damn it.
Brothers and Sisters.
There we go.
Yeah.
A lot of
Close.
parents.
Yeah,
things,
family.
Yeah, it's nearly identical. You fucking cocksucker. Piece of
Watched every
shit.
episode of Parents.
He,
Loved
on
it.
the ride over.
I mean,
he's
brothers
like, I
and
can't
sisters.
wait.
I mean, brother.
He on the ride over.
I
he's
loved
like,
you and Sally Field
I'm
together.
good. Yes, I'm gonna say I loved Brothers and Sisters. This is so pre-planned. I could smell it from a mile away. Yes.
No, it is a
Yes.
quiet confidence he has and you have.
Yeah, that Krause. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
It's
really
not so quiet with me sometimes.
Really?
Just
loud
blatantly
confidence.
solid confidence,
good.
like loud, weird confidence.
He I can see in him that acting is very much a part of his own self-exploration, which I don't really do,
Yeah.
for better or worse.
Interesting.
And I think it's really cool. I kind of wish I did. But would you agree with that? That, like, you acting and you not acting aren't really two separate things. They're kind of like, through acting, it's just more self-exploration and evolution.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Hopefully, I'm playing a character as opposed to just self. You know what I mean? I don't want it to ever be just a psychiatric session.
Okay.
But I am totally interested in deep wells of character psychology and exploring those things. And I do find that there is somewhat of a kismet to the roles that find me in the positions where I am in my life, and having to explore those particular things at that time.
Yeah.
I do find a certain kismet in that, and if it's there, I'll like totally go with it. Like this season in particular, even season 3 of Stranger Things, Hopper has to grapple with these particular issues, which I myself am grappling with a lot. And so I love...
Do you ever get suspicious the writers are like...
Well, no, I mean, not as suspicious. I think it's confirmed.
Oh, okay,
Like,
you
I
asked
just,
them.
yeah, well, also just, we're so... They're such good studiers of me. I mean, of human beings in general, but of me.
Yeah.
And they're writing for me.
The best writers do that.
And the insults this season that they come out with are so deeply personal.
Oh, wonderful.
I mean, they're just those things that I myself, those
What if they
things
just
that...
change your name mid-season to David Harbour? Officer Harbour.
Exactly. It's so amazing. I mean, I just read this recent episode that just came out, and they have 2 insults in there that this guy says to me, and I couldn't believe how mean and how accurate they were. And I called them immediately, and I was like, I would be mad, but it's just so accurate that I'm so happy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, sometimes, what's funny about that is, like, sometimes I get, even when someone's insulting, if they see you, like if they really see you, there's a euphoria to it. It's like, oh, you've just insulted the thing that like nobody sees.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's wonderful. Like I feel like really seen.
Yeah, yeah. That would happen to me on Brothers and Sisters too.
Sally Field would do that.
No,
too.
she wasn't writing the show.
Sorry.
She wasn't writing the show yet. After I left, she started writing the show. But
no, acting is a very personal thing for me, and I also, I mean, I do think it's what I'm built to do, and I take it very, very seriously. Like I don't take my life that seriously. And I don't take myself
as was exhibited
that seriously.
on your Instagram.
But
account.
yeah, exactly. But I honestly take acting like so seriously, and I like to go to deep, weird places. I read a lot of psychology. I read a lot of Freud. I read a lot of Lacan. I believe in a very old school approach to psychotherapy.
Okay.
Where you lie on the couch, and are dealing with a therapist who's a lot smarter than you, but coaxing things out of you, making connections that are not clear linearly, making subconscious connections over a period of many, many years consistently with the same person in a very safe environment where you go to that environment so that you can make gradual changes over the course of your life.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
So I totally agree with you about psychoanalysis, and that was your experience with it, and I believe that works.
It continues to be my experience. But yeah, I'm still in. Yeah.
I, on the other hand, have been in AA for 14 years.
Well, I'm also...
oh, you are?
Well, aren't we supposed to be... Isn't there a tradition that says we're anonymous at the level of TV, press, and radio? If I were to be in one of those programs,
I'll
that
tell you
would
why
be
I buck that.
But, okay, please, go ahead.
Jesus Christ, we'll never finish anything. But I love it. That's my favorite kind of conversation. In 4 hours, I'll go. Okay, so you said you lived in New York.
Wait, so you're 14
I'm
years?
4 years. I had no idea you were
oh
sober.
My God! All
Are
right,
you
we
sober?
can talk about this. Can we
Then
just
you of all people?
Can we just actually make this a meeting that we
Yeah,
record,
well,
like one of those
totally.
Russell Brand ones?
Isn't it already
Like-
a meeting?
Yeah. I was so high. And then came along and.
Unfortunately, the best radio is what it was like, not what it's like now.
I know it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. No, you're right. Yes.
So, listen, I already had this-
the differences between AA and psychotherapy. Yes, go.
Okay,
Dax.
just first and foremost,
Yes.
I have this affinity towards you, and I don't know what it is.
I know, me too.
Yeah, I just
I don't understand it either.
As soon as Kristen said
it's just
she
called
knew-
chemistry.
Yeah, she knew you. That excited me. Then on Stranger Things, I was just like, oh my God, this is my actor. This is my new Mickey Rourke. Like I'm in. He's my guy. And then I met you, and then I felt like they were just fireworks. But I feel like you being sober is part of it that I didn't even know about, which is so exciting. But okay, so you know then through AA. Or you don't know because you're not in AA, but I am in AA. No, because I already broken my anonymity.
How often do you go? Do you still go?
I'm going tonight. I go every Tuesday night.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have sort of a home group once a week kind of thing?
Yeah, spoiled, nice, at a house.
Yeah, beautiful.
Dudes I've known 15
wonderful,
years.
wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. But through the process of AA for 15 years now, I've only been sober 14, but I have been going for 15. Through the sheer volume, thousands of guys trying to get sober, you can tell within 5 seconds of a share what they're fucking struggling with. Because we've all struggled with it. We'd love to say there's so many symptoms out there and so many issues, but when you really listen to someone share, you go, okay, we all have fears. I can tell what this is one of the 7 fears you have in a 4-step. I get it, dude. I have the same one. There's such a shortcut in the process of getting sober. Because you're not going to spend 15 years to get sober.
That's true.
A dude's going to say, bullshit, dude, that's not how it works. I know. You're lying to a liar. There's this like really confrontational bullshit.
Well, it's the reason why, like, Bill went to Jung, didn't he? Like, he actually met with Carl Jung, and Carl Jung was like, I can't cure you. That's it. You're dead. And
he also did
so he had to
acid therapy, right?
Yeah, exactly. But he had, yeah, exactly.
I want to do it.
It's a little bit of a different time.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you do need an entirely different program for getting sober, because I do believe sobriety is a spiritual disease. Right?
I agree.
So you need a spiritual solution. But in terms of...
It's also an action program, right? So there's
exactly.
action.
It's action oriented as opposed to thought oriented. You'll never think yourself out of doing these, so you just do it. You follow your feet as opposed to your brain.
Yes.
Like,
all these dumb cliches that
exactly,
are 1,000% true.
Those guys, the crusty old guys at the pitch meeting.
Yeah. I got a dumb brain but smart feet.
Live and let live, kid. Easy does it, huh?
By the way, New York's the other greatest place to get sober, I feel like.
I got sober in the East Village when I was 24 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I had I'll tell you about my little
while you were
slip
arguing
that
with
I had in Los Angeles.
Okay, sure.
13 years later, but yeah, I was 24 years old. I got sober in the East Village, and it was magical. Like, and this was like 99. So
junkies and good stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was gentrifying, but it was still a little bit hardcore. But it was a lot of people with tattoos, like people that I wanted to hang out with for my whole life. But I was the like nerdy loser at the bar who wouldn't. And then you come into an AA meeting and everybody's sober. Their skin is just amazing. Everybody looks dewy and fresh, and yet they're so cool with those tattoos. And so, God, everybody was so cool. And it wasn't really like firm AA in the sense of like, we weren't talking a lot about the solution. It was more about being in the East Village and like crying about our lives, like being really emotional. But that's like what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, these pretty girls being like, come back next week, come back. And I was like, okay, I will. But
in fact, I'll go anywhere you're at. So
exactly.
Trash recycling facility.
I just loved it. And we would all like go to lunch and smoke cigarettes and like, it was just glorious. Yeah, it was glorious.
It's really fun, isn't it? Yeah, it can be. And then you had a little drinky poo or something.
No, what I did was like, so what did I do? I was sober
at 37.
I was 24, and then when I was 35 or 36 or something, I came out and whatever. This isn't his fault. I want to just say this, because I was toying around with the idea, but I hadn't been going to meetings for a long time. Like basically, I went the first 3 years. I went almost religiously, like every day. Well, also something happened early in my sobriety, like a year and a half in, where I discovered that I had bipolar, and so I sort of had some experiences with psychiatric hospitals. And
Is your permission or not your permission?
It was a voluntary admission, but only it was still at least the first experience was a locked ward. So when you go in, they determine when you leave.
Oh wow!
But you do voluntarily admit,
and that was in sobriety.
This was in sobriety.
Because basically you didn't have your medicine anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I've been self-medicating since I was like 15, drinking. And then I got to 24, and also like bipolar, sometimes they used to say that it, at least at the time, they would tell me that it starts sort of in your early 20s, like that people really discover they have it when they're early 20s. So, so that changed my relationship to AA too, which is a tricky thing. I don't want to speak
because it can't cure
about the program in any way.
You can, by the way.
I
welcome
saved my
criticism
life
of all things.
It saved my life, and it's an amazing thing. But also, there is there can be in some people a tendency to feel like psychiatric medication is in some way
not
cheating.
sober. Yeah. I think that's bullshit.
And that, I mean, I'll tell you right off the bat, for me, that's bullshit. Like, if you really feel that way, then you have to let me stay in your apartment because, like, you'll see in a couple days.
Buckle up. Let me take you for a
exactly.
ride.
Like, and we'll talk about program all day. I mean, I got tons of theories about the universe that we could talk about. And coincidence and kismet but anyway, so that changed my relationship a little bit.
By the way,
with
I think that has evolved, though, don't you think? Have you noticed that has evolved?
I think it's
that
evolved.
Position?
I do think it's evolved. Yeah, I think it's evolved. But again, this is, almost 20 years ago.
It is tricky, right? Because what you're kind of, the realization you're coming to in AA is that any attempt to regulate the inside with anything from the outside is generally not going to bear fruit.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's just the general principle, which is food's not going to do it long term, gambling's not going to do it long term, sex isn't going to do it long term, all these things we take. So it does break this paradigm a little bit to go, but there is medication you can take that is going to help with the inside, which, by the way, now is, at least out here, seems very embraced. Most of the guys in my meeting are on some kind of psychotropic. But
exactly. I mean, the jury's out for me in terms of where all this stuff will end up. Mm-hmm. Because 100 years from now, what will we think of mental illness as? Like, and what will the treatment be for it? Like, because now, I mean, we're certainly a lot better off than we were, like, 60 years ago when we were lobotomizing people. I mean, I think that medications are a lot further along than that sort of idea. But this whole concept that there are being more and more people diagnosed with mental illnesses, and more of those mental illnesses are being defined, like, the whole concept of mental illness has to change moving forward. Like 50 years from now, 100 years from now, we're going to think about it differently. But as we move forward, we need to incorporate medication, and because I'm medicated, I'm a much better human being. Yeah. And because I'm sober, I'm a much better human being. Right. So let's just take it on better human being. Yeah. Like, me as sober guy, I admit and agree that, like, me drinking alcohol as opposed to me not drinking alcohol, better human being. Yeah. But me not taking medication, worse human being. Yes. And so I think that's a valid thing.
So I have a deep fascination with psychology and mental illness. Mm-hmm. And do you find yourself ever asking, why is it an epidemic? Like, do you ever get curious of, like, so the thought I always have is this the general nature of Homo sapien? Has it always been for 200,000 years? Have we always fought mental illness, A? Or B, has something changed so dramatically that it's resulted in all this mental illness? And I have this armchair theory about that. And I'm curious what your thought is on that.
All right, you tell me I'll tell you mine. You tell me yours. Okay. I show you mine. You show me yours.
My armchair theory is that for the 90% of the time we've been on planet Earth, our life required a lot of rigorous physical activity to produce our food, and we were rewarded for that physical activity with serotonin and dopamine, and that people are just in general stagnant. And that I think a big chunk of the epidemic is physical stagnation, and that we're not getting the reward that we need to be happy.
I think that could totally contribute to it. I mean, part of it too is I know that there's a component of it that's chemical, and then there also, I believe, is a component of it that's upbringing. That sort of is. There's a nature and a nurture thing, right? There's a genetic component. I know that my medication works to a certain degree, but it really works in conjunction with the deep psychoanalysis of like really staying present with a daily routine of that. For me, it's psychoanalysis. I think like for other behavior, people, it might be exercise, or it might be, I mean, an exercise again is good, all those things. I think that one of the things too, though, is that there's tremendous moral conundrum to living in modern society. Sure. And I think that weighs on us in ways that we can't even describe or comprehend. Yeah. And the amount of information that we take in, like, it's so funny, like, we're all worried about junk food, but like, that's going into your mouth and going into your stomach, right? Like, think about the amount of information your brain takes in just from like watching a movie or just from watching the news for 5 minutes, living in a world where you have to understand things like mass shootings. Or understand things like, and still walk around in the world and feel safe. and feel like you can go to the deli. Like that moral, I don't know if it's moral, but just that behavioral conundrum. Like I find myself, just being a sensitive individual, like sometimes I stop and wonder, I'm like, why are we not all just like, why isn't not, and even the endless progression of society, the endless need and hunger for more
Right.
technology, more development, more like this like thing that society's doing, right?
Yeah.
That I think for sensitive individuals can be overwhelming. And so I think that like we're outpacing what we can handle
As
and
primates.
And the other thing is like the weird thing about Homo sapiens, right? Is like we have these brains that are like stupidly big for our bodies, right?
Right.
So like this brain, as it develops throughout the ages and as it continues to develop through maybe subtle evolutionary things, like maybe it's just getting weirder and weirder, and like we just haven't caught up with it. And like maybe we do need to medicate it, or maybe we do need to breed in different ways or whatever. But basically, like the only thing that defines a mental illness, I think, is that it doesn't adhere to society standards, right?
Well, that's what's dangerous about the DSM and having a objective diagnoses of these conditions, because what you're accidentally doing is establishing what the norm is.
Right.
Because all mental illness, we're saying, is falling outside of the norm.
I mean,
and it's just very tricky to actually have some kind of, recipe for what normal is.
I agree with you and I disagree. Like, because I agree that yes, and yet having it, I also know that it's something that's
Different.
fucked up.
Absolutely,
So,
but
like,
but
it's
like
weird. Like,
everything, it's not good
fun.
or bad. It's just there's this great thing about it, and then it comes with a little bit of side effect.
I do think that that our gifts and our illnesses are inextricably linked.
Right.
So yes, I do feel like it's part of our thing, and also I do feel like it's kind of. I do still feel like it's an illness.
Right.
So it's not like you're ever like, I have the flu, and it's like, but it's kind of good. Like you have the flu, and you're like, no, I'm not functioning at the level that I should be functioning.
Yes, definitely the flu. But I think me being an addict is why I'm a writer. I think me being OCD is why I can sit and write for 9 hours, and
Yeah.
most people can't. Like, so it's definitely a double-edged sword for me personally.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, what the danger of it is we think of something like ADHD as being, abnormal or something that needs correction in kids because they're not able to sit in that classroom and do what every other kid does, right? So we feel like it needs correction. But if you think about it in the terms of like a bee colony,
Right.
and that some of the bees can't hang with the other bees, and they're the ones that go discover the pollen somewhere else because they got to get the fuck out of there. Their attention span's not for that colony, but
Right.
but collectively, that's the danger in my eye. It's the same way
see, I
multiculturalism is awesome. It's the same reason why diversity creates all these inventions and our most wonderful things. It's like having all these different viewpoints on the world and people processing the world around them so differently is how we get everything worth having.
I kind of agree. And also, I think that there's ways that you can still have different bees doing different things and cut out those bees' illnesses. So in other words, like, yes, like that's a weird fucking bee and he just discovered the whole thing. But like also that bee's not like running around hurting itself while it's discovering other pollen.
Eliminating the suffering.
Yeah, and I think that medicine is working towards that better and better because there have been, and I think the medications are getting a lot better because it used to be you had to make a real sacrifice to be on medication.
Yes.
But they're getting more sophisticated about it. But I do feel like it's a weird thing because while at the same time I do feel like our gifts and our illnesses are linked, inextricably linked. I don't ever want to romanticize the idea that because you're ill, you're special.
Well,
Go off your medication because that specialness defines you in a different way. Like I actually think that you're special because you're special.
Right.
And that you're also ill. And we can help you with that.
That's a great distinction to make. And I would not want anyone to be embracing their misery because that's what makes them unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or because the weird thing about, like, I don't know, the weird thing about society is, like, you're right. I mean, it's contrary to the norms, but, like, there's acceptable limits of that stuff as well that are pretty much universal. Like I know that when I'm like going through episodes and stuff, they're usually not as creative. But the funny thing is, like, the best representation I've ever seen of it is Homeland. You ever watch Homeland?
Yeah.
First season, she goes into the hospital at the end, right?
Yeah.
And there's a brilliance that she acquires right before she goes in, which is like she starts to make connections that she can't make without it.
Yeah.
But then she crosses over a tipping point, and people are like, "We can't understand you. You're
Yeah.
not making any sense." And she's like, "No, she's figured it out." And that stuff, like that stuff doesn't make her unique or special or interesting or smarter. It just, she's actually crossed a level where she's sick now.
Yes.
And she's just, her brain is making associations that, like a cancer, like they're spreading in ways that they call it kindling in the brain. They're spreading in ways that aren't useful and aren't productive. And it's not like it's actually not like a negotiable thing. You're not like, well, it kind of looks more artistic. It's actually like just not.
Right.
It's like you're actually not making sense
Yes.
to anyone.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks it's more interesting. It was great a couple
So
days
the
ago.
perfect medicine, would you agree, would be not bunting or muting all of that, but allowing it to get to its like optimal level before, right? So for Carrie, if we could have let her go to the point where she was actually connecting all the dots, like basically the first 6 hours of a meth high, and then you, and then you lob off.
But the funny thing about you is you're such an addict that you like want to exist at this level like all the time.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, you want to be like the most creative. Like there's something to be said for those weeks where you're just like napping.
Yeah, no.
Like on the like you're like a lot of napping and like whatever, dude. Like I'm gonna play some video games. Like those, you know, it's fun. It's funny too. Like as a like man getting older, as a person getting older, there's all this emphasis on like, I don't know. I don't know if this is my own neurosis, but like on taking these like things that like will make you younger and stuff. And like there's something, or make you have more energy or something like that. And there's something about the organism itself, like having a shelf life. Like in other words, the organism itself slowing down as you get older and like not being able to do as much as it was. Like this push to constantly, like, so that's the thing.
Well, you just described me. Like I will fight this with everything.
Well, I see it in you. Are you kidding? Like I literally like,
man, but I do
can
it with
feel it off you when we're talking about mental illness. You're like, can I get a little of that? Like,
yeah,
can I get
1 hour of euphoria a day is not. I don't think that's gratuitous or selfish, but I am fighting that, and I will do things that are questionable. And I also have full awareness that when you and I are both 75. You'll have much more serenity than me, because you're right. You're slowly slowing down, and it's a part of the process, and it's preparing your brain for all these things. And I am fighting against it, and I know I will be fucked at 75. So I have no illusion that this is going to pan out well. But fuck it, I want it now, and I'll deal with that when I'm 75.
Yeah, there is something. There's something so extraordinary about the idea that. Because I look at my parents or look at, older people, and I still look at older people, and I think that I will not be that.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, they all start to look crappy. They all start to break down and are in pain. And I still have this association. So I think one of my journeys as I'm in my 40s here has been... and it's something I remember. I used to go to this monastery in Escondido because I had a friend who was a monk there under Thich Nhat Hanh, and they would do meditations about death where you would actually see your body decaying. And you would like do this medication about seeing your body decaying. And I'm sort of doing a meditation on aging in the sense of being like, okay, like in 17 years you'll be 60.
Oh,
and like it'll really hurt.
It's rough,
and the
right?
waistline will be even larger than it is at its worst now, or what? Do you know what I mean? Like things like that, where you're like, I want to accept, and the like double chins will. I want to, but even beyond that, just the actual physical instrument will start to break down. And I think that like the acceptance of that, and also society will care about you less. Like
absolutely.
That I think is like a fascinating.
You become white noise.
Isn't
Everyone
it
under.
amazing?
Yes.
It's like amazing.
I'm finding that even like with women, like I've gotten to the age where it's like,
that's
I have to remind myself that I am
Still a man.
I'm
Yeah.
a like sexless creature. To
No,
them.
I know. No, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm like
It's
a
amazing.
eunuch to them.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
and it's a weird acceptance.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But it
incredible.
is.
It's
It is what
really
it is.
exciting.
Well, yeah, we just watched the Marlon Brando documentary.
Okay.
We just watched that.
Was-
and
The one on Showtime called like in his
Is that
words.
Talk to Me, Marlon?
Something
Yes,
like
Talk
that,
to Me,
yeah.
Marlon.
I haven't seen it, but it's interesting. It's just him like
It's
talking.
him.
It's all his recordings.
But
And
it's such a good depiction of age because you see this like perfect human.
he was so fucking
He
beautiful.
was the
dude.
most
Ugh.
handsome
Yes.
person
Ever.
who
Most
ever
attractive.
existed,
Yeah.
and then became like the ugliest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To see a transformation of a body.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
morphing.
yeah.
It's like, oh boy, yeah,
I
this
know.
is just what happens.
I know.
Yeah,
But he's like, talk about a presence. I just
I know.
rewatched Apocalypse Now, and like that's an impossible role. Like you give somebody a role that for 2 hours of the movie, everyone in the movie is just like, this guy, he's amazing, he's crazy, he's the
Yeah.
most incredible man ever. And you think there's no actor that could ever live. And the minute he comes on screen, you're like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I know.
He's 400 pounds and he's amazing. I want to look like him. I want to be as troubled as him. You've seen Hearts of Darkness, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, with the throwing the
documentary.
coconuts and the whole.
I was trying to explain it to Monica, who hadn't seen that yet. And I'm like,
So
what?
crazy.
Because they go into that part of the documentary of him filming that, and when he was telling Francis, you know, that the character couldn't be this, that, and the other thing. And I said, you know, what he's leaving out is that he just didn't read the script or the book. He didn't do a fucking thing. He just showed up and he had this crazy contract, if you recall, that every day
was like
over
$1
the
million
10 days,
a day.
it was like just bankrupting the whole production while he thought about what he might want to play.
Yeah, he
didn't
went
do
off into
any
the
of that thinking
forest.
before
Yeah,
he got
exactly.
there. It's just like, it's so crazy because it's like everything I try to avoid as a human being, and then you look at the results of it, and I can't argue with it either. So it's very
because
tricky.
he delivers, right?
He does.
I know,
He's so
I know.
fucking good.
I know.
But back to the human thing in like how we live differently and whatnot. Monica and I were just talking this morning about privacy. And what happened is I was driving my kids to school this morning, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and I could see my 5-year-old was doing something a little bit mean to the 3-year-old, right? And then she caught eyes with me in the mirror, and then she stopped doing it, and also then looked out the window and acted like she had never been doing it, right? And as I was driving, it just occurred to me, like, if I could give her 2 cents of wisdom that she would never take, and I would never even waste my time giving her, but I wanted to say to her, if you could pretend I could always see you for your whole life, you would never have a problem in your life. You could live a life without a single problem if you just pretended I could see you in the mirror at all times, right?
I think she would have a life of tremendous problems if she would like imagine you in the mirror. Oh my God, the horror! The shame that I would carry around with me.
Well, that's true. I guess she needs to log off when
If
she wants to masturbate
yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
and have sex with her boyfriend.
My
Granted.
God,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and do drugs and stuff. All right, so that just was a launching off point.
notwithstanding.
Yes, we were talking about the fact that.
Oh, you're talking about like an external ethics as opposed to like an inner ethics?
Well, here's what we were talking about: is
Okay.
that over 90% of the time we've lived on planet Earth as a species, we lived communally. We lived in a one-room dwelling with all of our siblings, aunts and uncles, and our life was on full fucking display. You shit in front of people, you eat in front of people, you do everything in front of people, right? And I do think one side effect of us having privacy, which started with multi-rooms houses and stuff, we all have this huge level of privacy that us as an animal probably wasn't designed to have. And in that privacy becomes a lot of our perversions. And I don't even mean sexual. I just mean all these weird proclivities and weirdness comes from our
sexual as
privacy.
well. No,
Yes.
it's not. It's not. I don't think it's privacy. I think it's ownership. Like I actually read this guy Eric Fromm, who's like, he has a bunch of crazy psychology books. He's like this psychologist back in the, I think it's like 40s and 50s. But he studied some societies, and basically like there was Society A, Society B, and Society C. Society A, let's say, was a communal society where like you owned nothing except maybe your own shovel or something, but like you would sleep in different beds and blah blah blah, and like, and what they found that sex was a pleasurable activity, but there was no sort of but that as you grew increasingly ownership driven, like in a capitalist society, where everyone has ownership over things, sex gets extremely fetishized.
That's interesting.
So I actually think it's more about ownership than it is about privacy.
Well,
that fetishizes and makes sex a weird thing is like even the idea of bridling someone. I mean, like marriage.
Okay. Like putting them in that little.
They're a bride.
net.
You're bridling them, like
like a horse.
They're your chattels. They're your, you know what I mean? Like they're your property. And back in the day, like there was something that
in Kristen's mouth.
I regret not seeing those in People magazine. But there was even a thing. This is crazy, but like my sister got married into a Jewish religion. There's something called a ketubah, which now has become like just it's become a watered down version of itself, where it basically you go into another room with some friends and you say like, oh, if they're ever going to get divorced, like, you know, you promise to help them out. But the derivations of it was that you went into a room and you discussed how much livestock that you would get with the wife, so that you know how much you were being paid to take this woman.
Sure, off her dad's hands.
Yeah. So in that way, like the transaction of marriage, in that way, I mean, the whole thing is like ownership driven.
It's evolved so much. Our notion of what it is today with movies and Say Anything versus what it literally meant in the 1800s is they don't even resemble each other. Yeah. It was all business.
Yeah.
Similar breakdown.
Okay.
And it was a book called On Killing by this psychologist who teaches at West Point. It's a fascinating book. In his examples, once we started living in our own rooms and you stopped hearing mom and dad have sex, stopped hearing aunt and uncle have sex, your knowledge of sex was zero. So you start filling in the blanks. And that's what his theory is. That's where the rise of fetish comes from, because you're not witnessing it. You don't have any real contact with it. And then he maps that onto, we used to kill animals in our house. Grandma and grandpa died in our house. We buried them in the backyard. We had all this interaction with death, and now we have zero interaction with it.
That's true.
And that's where our current fetishizing of murder and death and violence in movies is born from, is having no connection to this thing we should have a connection to.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I dig it. It doesn't need to be the full truth, but it's a compelling thought, right?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I wonder, like, it was funny. I was having this discussion about, because I feel like we're entering a new level of, like, non-empathy or something. Like, I think we're seeing a new level of that. Whereas, like, empathy, there used to be compassion, empathy that existed where it was like, oh God, that person must be suffering. Let me think about what that person is suffering. Yeah. And then there's just this level of self-interest empathy, which is like, that person could be me.
Yes.
Like one day, like, or that could be my kid.
Yeah.
Like I need to protect that because it could be my kid.
Right.
Now I feel like we're entering a new phase where it's like, that'll never be me. That's an alien. That thing isn't even human. Like, fuck that thing. Well, which I feel like sort of exists on a new level now, but
I can give you, we both heard this amazing podcast with a sociologist who wrote a book about empathy and how it's not what
Paul
Bloom, in that it's not what we think it is. But one of the studies that's interesting is if you show one starving child, a photo of one starving child, your average person's interest in helping them is, let's just quantify and say it's a 10. You add 2 starving children to the photo, and it goes to an 8. You add 3, and it keeps going down and down and down.
No, it's because narratives, we don't understand numbers.
We don't, right. And I also think it's very easy to feel overwhelmed, like the problem is too big to solve. I could take one person into my house and feed them and probably make them live for a while. But 100 people, I don't know how to solve that. And so, to your point about information we're receiving, we're getting the information from all around the world. 7 billion people. We're designed to live with 100 other people, and you can manage that level of empathy. But I think just in general, we see every bad thing that happens on planet Earth, and it just feels overwhelming. And it erodes our.
It is I believe it's the conservative position, what modern day conservative position on the liberal hysteria around mass school shootings. Is that the actual numbers of them are extremely low. So the odds of being, and the fact is that they're just such very potent stories.
Yes.
That we take them on in very personal ways. I mean, I still think it's an insane argument, but the fact that it exists at all should be cause for alarm and concern. But the argument is just that because of the potency of the story, the numbers themselves don't, like the numbers of people who will die of any other thing.
Getting hit by lightning, all these things.
But the things that we could
Same
be
with
attacking
terrorism.
in society.
Terrorism.
Well, that's extremely
That's like
low.
5,000th on the list.
Yeah. I think it is more likely to be struck by lightning than to be killed in a terrorist attack in America.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, one of the refreshing things about the not understanding numbers thing, though, in terms of being an artist or a storyteller, is that like narrative can be our salvation, right? Like we get to focus on stories that are surrounded. In 2 hours, people focus on one individual or one experience or a group of people that is small and understand. So I think there's like a lot of power in personal narrative. AA is the same way. Like there's a lot of power, and if you were to just hear that hundreds of thousands of people die of alcoholism, but when you actually hear someone's story, it's so powerful. That I do feel like humans are sort of hardwired to like stories, to understand stories, to learn from stories, and to change the world through narrative in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. In AA, don't you think that one of the other magical ingredients is simply community, which you really don't get anywhere? I'm not religious, so I don't go to church.
Yeah.
And if I had, it took me being in AA to understand the appeal of church, because there is something that happens in a group of people that defies description, right?
Yeah, and when it's not about money.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that community exists without money and that hasn't been corrupted by money because of those traditions. I mean, one of the greatest things, I think there's some story of Bill going to like Andrew Carnegie or something and saying that he wanted $1 million to start this foundation for alcoholics. And I think it was like actually Carnegie or Rockefeller, one of them, who said, I think money would ruin this.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Out of that was built this tradition where you can actually only bequeath AA at the end of your life. Like when you die, even if you have billions of dollars, you can only give them $100.
Oh, really?
That's the limit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to challenge that, just like my anonymity.
No way. I mean,
I'm an iconoclast.
The problem is that it's been like this rehab thing has been born around it, where there's so much money.
Oh, there is.
Because, money has to exist in any business. But the fact that AA has stayed pure as a result of those traditions is like every group must be self-supporting through its own contributions, declining outside. I mean, those traditions, like you think the steps are good, like the traditions are like the powerful ones, of which we are breaking. But
But I say that I'm breaking it in an attempt to hopefully save a dozen lives.
That's the thing.
I'm willing to be the black sheep of AA. If 12 dudes end up finding this thing and surviving, then they can fucking shoot me in an alley.
Wait, we never heard the story. We never finished this relapse story.
Oh my God, the relapse story. Oh yeah, we know. Okay. So I was, sober for like 13
and you said
years,
clearly it was someone's fault. That's all I remember from the story.
It wasn't his fault.
It was someone's fault.
But I had stopped going to meetings for a while, and I was out. And I was out in LA because I did I think I was auditioning in pilot season or something, and Seth Rogen and I had done a movie a couple years ago, and we have some mutual friends, and I needed a place to stay, and I stayed out of his house for a day or two in Malibu. And,
he's coming tomorrow.
Is he really?
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up to him.
So I don't think he even knows the extent of it. Okay, I just felt like one night we played Cranium, and like they were getting really high, and I'd smoked weed a little bit in college, but it'd never really been interesting to me. I'd always been an alcoholic. So it'd always been Irish whiskey. I'm like an Irish guy. Like it'd always been whiskey and beer and just like drinking. Sure. And so I was like, oh, and you come out to California and everybody here says it's medicinal. Yeah. And it's like just this thing. Yeah. And I was like, and everyone's like, it's not addictive. And I was like, great. Like, what am I doing being such an uptight square? Yeah. Like, I can smoke this shit. Yeah. So I was like, pass that over here, guys. And I got super high. And then I proceeded to white knuckle it for like, I'd say like 3 or 4 months. I was doing a couple movies, and I just had to white knuckle it. I would do it like once every 2 weeks on the weekend. And then it would become like.
Just weed or drinking?
Just weed. Okay, I never picked up a drink. So that's amazing, then it became once a week. And then I moved out to LA doing this show, and it was one of these situations where I was working I was a series regular, but I had like one of 5 storylines. So they would shoot all my stuff in one day. So I'd work basically once every 2 weeks. I'd work one day for 2 weeks. Dream and nightmare for me. Because like I'm not good with free time.
Especially when you're not at home.
Yeah. So I was renting a little place in Venice and I was driving the Mustang to Culver City to shoot at Sony, and then would come back and have like 15 days off, and would just, and then I started like smoking weed and like getting the gummies and the soda,
the medicine.
You guys do it really well out here. I mean, you really know what you're doing. And I have to say, the first couple months of doing it, I was like, oh, I had found the solution. Because the funny thing about alcoholism, that after you're sober for a long time, like I was, you forget that like that is the solution. Like it is what you want. It's like, oh shit, like I'm high now, like everything. And then the problem is like, you know, and then a couple months in, I was suicidal, right? And I couldn't stop smoking all day long, and I felt like shit, and I couldn't do anything, and it was awful. And like that's, you know, that's the thing. Like I was the only guy who got addicted apparently to marijuana. Like I'm the only person who. Oh,
David, so I've been addicted to Halls, and I mean sincerely. Kristen will tell you I would eat those a family pack a day of Halls.
Yeah, so you're like me, just a complete addict, right?
I could get fucking addicted to chewing paper. If I thought it made me feel different, I could do it until my teeth fall out.
Oh man, so I was doing that, and then I would go. So I finally I was like, this has to change. So I started going to a meeting, and it was like a hardcore, like old men's book thumping like meeting, where it's like they weren't going to take any bullshit from them. You know what I mean? Like they'd all been sober thousands of years,
cumulatively.
They came over on the pilgrim boats of sobriety. They and you know, I mean, and like, you know, a lot of famous dudes. I mean, it was a cool meeting in that way. Like I was really excited, but also they were very like hard on me. Some guys were really, really nice, but I remember some guy cross-talking me. Like I shared about, you know, I was like, again, I don't want to. Again, this is the disclaimer that I'd like to say. I don't want to badmouth the program, because after this happened, a ton of guys came up to me and were like, "That's not how we do it. This guy's a cranky old jerk." Yeah. But I did say at a meeting, I was like, I'm really suicidal, and I feel like I had 14 years, and I just lost it, and now I'm counting days again. And and this guy was like, like shared next, and he was like, You're arrogant. You know that? That's your ego talking. Like, look at page 60. What is it? Like 62 or 61 or something. He's like, that's your ego. You associating yourself with the time, how much time you had. Like, you know, you're just an arrogant like kid. Like, you just think you're so special. You can be so depressed, sort of thing. And I was like, and I get what he's saying. Yeah. Like from the book, he's right. I mean, self-centered in the extreme, and that there is a self-centeredness to self-pity.
Yes,
but it was not what I needed to hear. I was like, dude, I want to kill myself. So like, leave me alone.
Power, the greatest magic trick of AA, in my experience, has been, for the most part, I'm not told what to do, because I have a big authoritarian complex. Right. I'm only learning through someone else.
Wait, you have that as well?
Oh, it's my worst character defect.
You just want to run the show?
I just don't like being told what to do. I don't like if you ever read that I was shot by a TSA agent, you'll feel bad, but you also go, makes a ton of sense.
I'll completely understand.
Makes a ton of sense. I've embarrassed Kristen so fucking bad at airports. One time in particular in Detroit, did I lose it? I lost it. It was one of these things where you go in that machine and you put your hands above your head, but they made me take my belt off, right? Yeah. So my pants sag down because my belt's off and my hands are above my head. And the lady says, pull your pants up. And I go, okay, I pull my pants up. Now put your hands above my head. Put my hands above my head. Well, of course, the pants fall down again.
Dude, this is and I do Buster Keaton.
It is. It was literally Laurel and Hardy routine. Yeah. After 2 times, I recognize this will not get any different if we repeat it more. Like I say to her, my pants are down and you're going to have to deal with it because I got to have my hands above the head. I'm not going to do this again. And she goes, you have to do it. And I go, I'm not fucking doing it. And she goes, I'm going to get my supervisor. I go, get good. Get them. Get all of them. Get everyone in here. I want everyone to fucking watch what you think can be done. Get them all. And I'm like Gary Oldman in fucking The Professional. Get everyone. And poor Kristen's sitting there. She's famous. She doesn't need this. It's so embarrassing. I just can't be a part of a bad plan. It's just I have the hardest time going along, being complicit in a bad plan.
I had a one in, it was like Germany or something. It was some obscure, and we were going through security, right? Through the airport security thing. And everybody was really slow, and I was really annoyed because we had to catch a flight, like a connecting flight, and it was really stupid. And there was like a big long line of like, you know how in JFK now they have like the 4-tray system, where you go and like everybody, like one person will be in that front tray, but you'll just slide in next to them and get in those other trays, right? And there was this woman who was in front of me, and she was like at the head of the line, but there was no one else like down the line. But this woman was dealing with her in a foreign language, French or German or something. And they were talking about something, and I was like, there's all this empty space and all these carts and shit. I'm just gonna go around and I'm just gonna start.
Why should you have to wait?
And it was like and I said to my girlfriend afterwards, I was like, it was so, she was like, you were wrong, but they shamed me so hard. I've never been, it was like everything stopped in the airport.
Well, and
like everybody stopped and was like, look at this American man, like thinking that he can, save time. Really? You're going to save time? I was like, my God. Yeah. And they just stood there and shamed me for what we could have expedited the process and all made our connection.
And what was your reaction?
But they needed to take the time. And I said, first I said, like, in America, we do it a little differently. Like, in America, I know, right? No. You're already laughing because, like, that's not what you say to the, whatever. Like, they were like, in America. I was like, well, we just, go around. And then I finally went, I'm sorry. I said, you're right. I'm wrong. Nice. I apologize. And they were just like, sorry. Like that, like not even that. I was like, okay. So now I was like, just bring it on. Just shame me. Can I eventually go through security, or do you just like let me know when this wraps up?
Good for you, though. That's a much better reaction than I would have.
I mean, I'm fine with being wrong, but it's just that it was the level like after, because it was funny. Like my girl, I was like, was that crazy? She was like, well, you were a little crazy to like go in front of her and think that would be okay.
Yeah.
But they were a lot crazy to like shut the whole airport down and just be like, let's shame. But airport security, I mean, you can't, that stuff is.
Well, my hack for it now is and if I'm not doing it out loud, Kristen will remind me to do it, which is right before we arrive at the airport, I go, I'm going to go inside there. I'm going to be asked to do something that defies all logic. And that's that. And that's what's coming. And as long as I set the appropriate expectation, the AA expectations or resentments waiting to happen. If I just set the expectation is I will be asked to like balance something on my head and stand on one foot. Yeah, I got to do another one because there's footprints they've fucking drawn on the ground. I find it so condescending. And they actually, someone came over and told me that my feet weren't in the footprints. And I was still clearly in line. And I go, not doing it. I'm not gonna put my feet in those. It's terrible. But anyways, if I give myself this speech, I go in there more times than not. Nothing bad does happen, even though I'm expecting it, and then I'm delighted. Yeah. So what was the? You've worked nonstop since you were a kid. I mean, a kid, right? 20s.
Yeah,
you did plays.
Kind of. I did a lot of plays. Yeah.
And did you have your sights set on a certain actor or career you wanted that? For years you were frustrated not getting, or who did you want to be?
I mean, I don't think I ever allowed myself sort of the dream situation that I feel like I'm in now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, never. I always thought in terms of photographs. Like, I always thought that the people in movies and television were impossibly good looking. Like, I always would look at like still photos of me, and I always thought I looked. Yeah, I just can't take a picture.
Oh, me
I
either.
still can't take a picture. Like you, I mean, occasionally if you light it really right and you get me in just the right position, you're like, oh, that guy's handsome.
Yeah.
But in general, like candid shots off the carpet, you're always like, oh, I like that guy. We'll just turn the page on that picture really quick. Just like a lot of flesh and a lot of face and a lot of paleness and
I'm with
just
you.
sort of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is like, how asymmetrical could a face get? Jesus Christ. Is it even the same person? I'm curious. I can understand you feeling that way about pictures, but when you watch yourself in Stranger Things, can you acknowledge that person's charismatic and handsome?
Stranger Things has been the first thing that I've watched that I've enjoyed myself in.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's the first thing.
How wonderful that all things came together.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think it was an accident, too, because to a certain degree, it was about me accepting myself in a deeper way. Like, I actually went back to acting class before it started.
Oh, really?
Because I had been in a weird position in Hollywood where, like, I was in New York doing plays, and I'd been sort of a supporting player, like number 6 and 7 on the call sheet in the, like, Denzel movie or the Liam Neeson movie or whatever. And I'd grown very cynical about those movies. Because, like, I would just be, like, the guy running around with the gun and, like, even shooting the movies. Like, it just felt like, the movies some of them turned out great. But it just felt like a weird job. And it just
like a job.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just felt like.
Well, you start recognizing, right, your primary role there is to help drive number 1 on the call sheet story.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a weird.
Just functional to the narrative.
Yes.
As opposed to, and, I, of course, come from a very, like, I want. Like you too, I don't love to get told what to do, and I want a lot of input. Like, I want to actually create something,
right?
And like nobody's that. Even if you're a good director, like 6 or 7, you're not really interested in them taking up a lot of space on your set.
Yeah. Are you difficult with directors?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be. I don't want to hit marks.
Okay.
I want to be spontaneous. I want to let something live. And also, I don't know that it's a difficult thing, but I'm sort of methody, which I'm realizing like may not be. Like if I'm supposed to have a scene where I'm pretty messed up, I just like to be messed up.
Right.
And I stay away from people.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to be charming and like fun.
Right.
I think that one of the things that's underrated sort of in today's, like there was television, the explosion of television as opposed to film created something like, I think they just started to overuse the close-up.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like every scene now is just like coverage and like just 2 actors standing talking to each other, and it becomes subtle shadings of some particular eye movement or some particular whereas the idea of behavior to me has completely been lost, where it's like if I'm sad about something, I'll go fucking get a bunch of ice and like put it in my drink or whatever. Like I'll go like I'll go like put on a different belt or I'll just have behavior that's like specific to me, and I really like to find behavior that's specific to character as opposed to just meaningless emotion. Which, and I feel like that's the tension that I always have with directors is I will be pushed into those realms where I feel like and really what I want is I also want time to find the scene, and now I can make that time because I'm higher up on the call sheet and everything, and I can say like I want time, private rehearsal, like we're gonna figure this out. But a lot of time, because of the nature of the beast, they want to move things along quickly. They don't want to give you time to find the behavior. They don't even want to give you time to like explore on the set and things like that, and I need that exploration time, and I really want to make that for myself. But I find behavior a lot more interesting than just emotion.
Right. And do you think that comes from having come up primarily in the theater where you did rehearse for months or however long you guys rehearsed?
Yeah, but also
you find all those things.
Yeah, and also my own fears as well. Like I always thought my eyes were not very expressive.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think they're very unexpressive. They've always been dark and shaded by this brow.
Oh, yeah.
And
you
I always
pronounced
felt
brow
like,
ridge, as
exactly.
we say in
And
anthropology.
I also thought exactly my Neanderthalis brow.
Yeah.
But I also thought that they were unexpressive and mean and dark in ways that my friends who had light eyes I thought were always so much more. So I never really wanted I never really wanted.
You didn't
my
want to
eyes
hang your hat
photographed.
on that.
Yeah, I wanted
Right.
to I wanted to use my body to express behavior. So
Yeah.
it came from and I got really into check off psychological gesture, things like that were very much like full body experiences, and behavior as well, which I find is actually more true to life. Like very rarely, I think, do people. Well, sometimes I guess, and in our society now, I feel like we're a kind of wetter society where it's like people cry more, whereas like in the '80s, like guys from the Midwest in the '80s, like
Yeah.
a guy like Harbour would those people just wouldn't. They grew up with my grandparent, my grandmother. I remember I got stung by a bee and I was crying and she hit me and said boys don't cry.
Right.
But it wasn't like she was a mean woman. She was just like of this era, where
Helping you
be
fit
a
into the
man.
society
Be a man.
you're in. Yeah.
So I do like behavior a lot better because we all get sad or uncomfortable, but it's just how we express that. Like some people are very willing to let the tears flow and shit, and then some people just really want to wash their hands or just really want to. And I find that to be a lot more sad.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch somebody do that and you're like, oh, dude, can't you just cry? And they're like, no, I'm not sad. I'm not sad. I'm fine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's like, ooh. But
Have you directed anything?
I directed plays when I was in school, but I really do wanna. I'm starting to understand a lot more about it. But I think in terms of narrative and storytelling, I'm really good. But in terms of the camera and stuff like that, I need to understand more.
Right. You do get more sympathetic to the
I'm sure.
the other side,
the technical
of it.
stuff.
Yeah, because it is interesting because the entire endeavor is a compromise between you, the actor. You have a singular job. Make that moment real.
Right.
Yeah, and you should be empowered to do that.
Yeah.
And then the director has the singular job of keeping this global thing cohesive.
Yeah.
And those things are often at odds. And there are scenes that you have to play in a way that's not real to set up the scene 3 scenes from now.
Yeah.
Right? So that scene will have all the weight. And that's where it's supposed to be weighted. So it is tricky, and I have certainly more sympathy now for directors when I'm acting and stuff, having been on the other side where it's like, you're dead right. You are right. That is real. That is what you would do. But if you do that thing, I now either have to go rewrite the scene 3 from now because you want to play the moment in this scene that I've written for you in 4 scenes.
Right.
So it's informative. I think you. But I want to ask you: Do you think, in a spiritual sense, in a universe sense, that you got Stranger Things at the perfect time, that you couldn't have got Stranger Things 9 years ago because you would have made a mess of it somehow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, I feel like guys in their 30s as opposed to guys in their 40s. Like and in your 20s, you're just completely useless. I feel But then,
I get drunk.
I hit 30 and I was like, oh, now I'm a man. I really understand myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I hit 40 and I was like, oh, now I really, I mean, I'm sure I'll probably feel the same way at 50, but I do feel like there was so much ambition and narcissism in me when I was in my 30s that just kind of died in my late 30s and certainly into my 40s, where it's like I just stopped caring so much. I think I would have cared too much about the stupid shit.
Right.
Like for example, that first shirtless scene, I think I would have been at the gym. Hardcore.
And
I think
dieting for 3 weeks
yeah.
beforehand.
I mean, I really do.
Yeah,
I don't think I was ready to just play that.
That's why I
guy.
don't have a Stranger Things.
because
I still do that.
But I still think you look better than me. So we all win. Yeah. But I wasn't ready to do that. And also I was thinking about playing roles. I didn't want to play that role. I wanted to play 5 roles. I wanted to play the 5 roles I'd get after Stranger Things.
Right.
I wanted to be George Clooney.
Yes.
I didn't want to just be Hopper. And I think that Stranger Things coming along at that time, I was like, because first of all, I had enough. I didn't think, you got to understand that pre-Stranger Things, I was not an actor that anybody really knew. Whatever. I would get recognized once a month, maybe in New York, be like, oh man, look what you do, or whatever. But to be at
you
the
got to be
level,
into acting and actors. Probably.
Yeah, you got to really know actors to know. And I never expected that sort of thing. And even when Stranger Things came along, I thought it was I've had a bunch of series in my past that have had like one season. They've been high profile projects. People thinking that, you know, and then even movies, people being like, "Oh man, your life's gonna change."
Yes.
and then like nothing happened. Like going into audition for the guest star. Like the next week after, and you're like, "Oh my god."
It's a great occupation for people who need to be humbled off.
Yeah. So when this came around, I was like, I might as well just. This isn't going to change my life. Like nothing's really going to come of it. It's going to be like a niche Netflix show that like some people will find. There's a million of them on Netflix.
Right.
I might as well just like play the hell out of it for myself.
Yeah.
Mainly because I love it.
Yeah.
And like maybe 3 people will like really like it, and like. And then, you know, so I wasn't ready to do that in my 30s. In my 30s, I would have, you know, I would have been bad. And
9
also,
months
I wasn't
down the road.
I just wasn't kind of tired and over it enough, you know.
Yeah, it's a weird asset, isn't it?
Oh, so much.
That's where I'm at, and then weird things happen out of that I don't understand. But yeah, it's interesting because I've been so guilty of that my whole life, and I don't have advice for young actors, but I will occasionally be talking to a friend of mine who's about to audition for something. They're getting more and more nervous about this audition. And I will say to them, can I just guess that in your mind, if you do great at this audition and you get hired for this job, that you're then probably going to get hired for this other job, and they have like you end up building 12 other jobs on this audition, right? You just keep layering on, like, well, if I nail this, then I'll get on there, and then they'll like me, and then they have another show, and then I'll probably go over there, and then I'll probably get my own show, and then I'm going to do movies, and then and it's like you're going in to read 9 lines, and your whole life now is dependent on it. The stakes are so high,
right?
And I finally hacked my brain enough where it's like each thing's just for itself, and that's enough. And I don't know, it's maybe an age thing or. Or also you've worked long enough.
And I think you start to understand that like, I mean, I do have a sense of mortality now. I'm like, I'm gonna die. So, and this was a weird shift too. Like, I remember really thinking in the room, wanting people to like me or wanting them to think I was a good actor. Right, when I would audition. And now I think like, why do you want them to think you're a good actor? Like, you're just gonna die. So like everybody thinks you're a good actor. You're still dead. Why don't you just play it? Because you like to play. Because you like to act. Why don't you just do it for you? As opposed to like, so let's say everybody in the world thinks you're a good actor. And then what? Like,
and then what?
But you actually just get to play. Like, just fucking do it, man. And that was a big shift. Like, that actually happened. Like, after one audition, I feel like I had this moment where I was so worried about whether or not they thought I was good. And then I was like, why? Like,
right.
You know?
Right.
Because, I mean, I guess the really good thing about 42 is, like, had this happened to me and the success and sort of the fame and sort of the, like, celebration. Cause
You're 43, by the
43,
way.
Yeah,
okay.
But I just mean 40s. But
well, we're the same age, so if I'm 43,
but
you're 43.
I just mean, like, had it happened at 30, I would have, or 33, I would have really taken on the zeitgeist. Like, people are I'm being very celebrated right now.
Yeah,
and the show's being very celebrated.
You were nominated for an Emmy this year.
Yeah,
and
last year as well.
Year.
And you know, like,
and so deserve that.
Golden Globe and like all, you know, SAG Awards.
What does your ego do to you, and how do you?
Well, so the funny thing is, had it happened to me at 33, like, I would have really thought I was something special.
Yes,
I would have been like,
vindicated,
and I would have been like, yeah, exactly. Like, finally, you all have figured it out.
Late to the
And
party,
like, yeah,
guys.
exactly.
A little late to the party, but
and now I'm like, oh, you know, not that I think that I actually don't, because I remember hearing an interview with Zach Galifianakis like years ago when Hangover came out, and him saying like that he was flavor of the month and he knew it was going to end. And I was like, I get that as well, but I maybe it's my own delusion that I need to hang on to. I'm hoping that my acting, my art will be able to transition, and I'll continue to do really interesting, good projects.
Yeah.
But in terms of the new celebration of me and of the show, like, I do know that there's a ticking clock on that, and that all changes.
The odds of you getting struck by lightning several times are small. Like, the thing that happened to you with Stranger Things happens if an actor's crazy lucky, it happens once in their career.
Yeah.
And if they're crazy lucky.
And at 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 40
Which
when
is
the
not
show
to say,
started, you son of a bitch.
Dirty son of a
I'm
bitch.
40 and a half now, but I was 40.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that where it came about too, was I was like, I think I was like 35, and I was like, okay, like I will never be on the cover of a magazine, and like I'm great with that.
Yeah.
Like I have a great career in New York where I do off-Broadway plays, I do guest stars, I
You
occasionally
do the thing you love doing.
yeah, and like I
which is
get,
awesome.
you know, I make an okay living, and I'm, you know, but I'll just never be that guy.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then and then people would always be like, "Well, look at Bryan Cranston," or like,
Right,
"Look
right,
at like,"
yeah.
and I was like, "That's the lottery ticket."
Yeah, yeah.
Like that actually doesn't happen. To me. And then like it happened.
Well, what I was going to
it
say to you, which
fucking
is
weird.
funny, is the thing that I accepted about 3 years ago is my fantasy has always been to play a superhero, not because I have any interest in anything other than doing steroids. I want an excuse.
Dude, I'll
to
put you in Hellboy too.
Well,
You
that's what
ready?
I'm about to say
Well,
to you.
yeah,
I'm about to say to you. I just accepted
I want
3 years
an
ago.
excuse
I just
to
so
do
wanted to do
steroids.
like
Have
6
you ever
months.
done steroids?
I haven't. I want to do 6 months of hardcore steroids where I literally put on 25 pounds of muscle. I
But
shave
don't
off
you
3
care
years.
about your testicles and like
no,
your
I have
back
a vasectomy.
knee? So you don't need your
I
testicles
have 2 kids.
anymore.
I don't. You could take them
Oh,
today when you
nice.
leave. I don't need them, and I'm married.
I don't think I want them. But
I have very little need for these testicles.
that's awesome. Then you totally can do steroids.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no problem. Again, I'll probably
right.
take off a couple years at the very end, but that's a trade I'm willing to make today. But what's so funny is if I just thought that 3 years ago, well, I'm never going to be a superhero.
Yeah.
I've accepted that.
Oh no.
You too must have thought that.
Oh,
and
God,
and
yeah.
here you are, a fucking superhero.
Yeah,
You did
exactly.
Hellboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that? I mean, I don't know what to say about that other than that I'm so pumped for you.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's got a more of a horror film tone. It's a little more adult. It's a little more mature. It's a little more and so
What universe does Hellboy exist in?
its own. It's called It's Dark Horse
okay.
comics. So it's not DC. It's not Marvel. But they do have a lot of amazing characters. Like, I mean, you know, Abe Sapien, who's like a
Please give
fish
me an
dude.
excuse to get roided out.
Dude, I mean,
I'll
there
do
are.
it. I will do it.
I mean, look,
I
this
can be
movie
ninth
has to
on the
make
call
money.
sheet. Listen, even ninth on the call sheet, I'll go through the
Dude,
cycle.
there are definite like parts in this universe. Like it's
Is there a character called Steroid Boy? 50-year-old steroid guy?
Yeah, I think there's that potential. 50-year-old steroid boy. But you got to understand something. Like, I don't know if I should reveal this, but I'm gonna have to. But
Yeah.
it's so funny. You know, that's not my body. Have you seen those photos?
I
of
saw
it?
the photos, and
Yeah.
my assumption was that wasn't your body.
No, it's
Because I don't think
Excellent.
that's anyone's body. Even the guys that are roided to the max in Marvel don't look like that Hellboy picture I saw.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, they showed me. You know, they showed.
What's really
me
funny is I
the
watched a
sketches.
5-minute video today of your workout routine.
Wait, so yeah, okay.
And what's so funny is they keep showing the picture of you in that outfit, and I'm like, well, guys, this is a little deceptive.
But this is the thing where it was like, even my trainer, who's great, and he was like, because I went on, I think it was like, what's the show? Kelly Ripa show.
Okay.
And I went on that show and said it was it was prosthetics and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And then like the next day, I saw GQ online was like, David Harbour gets ripped for Hellboy.
It's a better story.
And then
No one was like,
But I-
read the story. David Harbour bought a suit with muscles in it.
but I found these. I finally understood what fake news was. You know, this whole like thing that like for Donald Trump, I guess works against him, but for me, it's like well in my favor.
Absolutely.
Like, thank you. I do put that kind of commitment. No, but here's the thing. Like, I did actually. And I got strong for power, and because I'm doing stunts in this thing that are crazy.
Well, that's the part that made sense to me is that you wanted to feel powerful,
Yes.
to exude powerful.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
which
wanted
makes
to be able
tons
to
of sense.
jump and run.
But
and
you
move
getting down to
quickly.
4% body fat and being 235 seems a little implausible.
Exactly. And it was, and what they showed me in terms of like the mask that, you know, because it was a full prosthetic mask as well with the horns and
Yeah, I
everything.
don't know.
So it's, the body has to be like, it was like
Proportional.
Schwarzenegger at his prime.
Right.
Like the
Mr.
back,
Universe 6
the
times in a row.
back on it and the shoulders and just the power of this instrument was just so large.
Did you feel when you would look in the mirror though and see yourself in that suit? Did you feel like a fucking god? Like
Well, yeah. So there was
god?
no way I was going to be able to do that. Like I actually could get like leaner and like a little bit bigger.
Sure.
But like there's no way I could do that without tons of steroids
Yeah.
and like 7 or 8 months probably.
Right.
Right. Like I could get
Did
a
that
little
cross
bit
your
closer.
mind at all?
Yes. Yes, it did.
Yeah. And why didn't you take the steroid route?
Well, okay.
You
First
had
of
the
all,
perfect on a platter excuse.
2 reasons. 2
Your
reasons.
testicles.
Because no, please, I don't care so
Okay.
much.
All right.
No, I no, it was because they actually told me this. They said that if we use the suit, you'll be in the makeup chair for 2.5 to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If we paint you red, you'll be in the chair for 6 hours.
Fuck that. Yeah.
I was like, it's actually they basically said it's going to take much longer.
Right. Was the suit hot as a motherfucker?
Yeah, but they did have a zip in the back where I could open it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Let some of the
it was-
sweat pour out.
It was pretty hot. The weird thing is the silicone mask is the worst part because like Ron for his movies, his was foam.
Okay.
I think, which is like the body was foam, but foam breathes better than silicone. So silicone doesn't have anywhere for the water to get out when you sweat, right?
Right.
Because the whole thing is covering your face. So what you have is you have nose. It can get out your nose. It can get out your eyes, and it can get out these horns. Like, so they would just come by sometimes, and I would just we'd just put my head down and we'd press the mask.
Oh my god.
And it would just it
Ooze
would just
out.
pour out of like my horns and stuff.
Were you not claustrophobic in that thing?
Initially, I was, and then I actually started to love it. Like you
Really?
talk about fetishizing it,
Yeah.
because I would just when I would get in the makeup chair, and you could fall asleep too. Like the mask took the most amount of time, so I would just put in my headphones and I would lie back, and these
Listen to
Joel and
Armchair
Heather
Expert.
would sit, and Joel and Heather would come and just like do this whole thing, and then I would look in the mirror. And I would feel like myself. Like I really had a
Interesting.
transition because it totally looks different than I look.
Yeah.
Like you can see little elements, but it's like a real transformation.
Yes.
So I wouldn't feel myself until I was in it because I spent so much time in it. I spent more time probably shooting than I did just hanging out in Bulgaria.
Right.
And so I felt much more comfortable in that. And even the feeling of just all the stuff, like the hand, like he's got this big like fist,
Oversized
thing.
fist, right?
Yeah, and he has a tail, and he's got this like trench coat and these.
Was
horns
it
and,
breaking
like,
a lot? Like when you would get physical, were you like, cut, your tail came off 3 minutes ago. We can't use any of that.
It was pretty durable, although it would get stuck in awkward positions
Jesus.
sometimes, where it like looked pretty weird.
Would you ever feel just completely stupid? Like, would you ever lose your mojo for a second? Like when the tail would get fucked up in between your legs and shit, and you just be like,
Oh,
what am
yeah.
I doing? I'm a fucking idiot.
No.
Look
And
how
at one
silly
point, I
look.
remember, like we had.
I got this great show, Stranger
No,
Things.
dude, it was like beyond. Like I remember at one point they had like because I got like a fucking hand, like the hand thing itself was a whole. So you couldn't really use. Like
Sure.
the hand was posed. Like I could do things with the fingers,
Right.
But
Probably
I
the
couldn't
first third
grip
of the-
something.
right.
I mean, I couldn't, and also the hand extended beyond my hand, so it wasn't even like I could lean on it because I'd just be leaning on
And it'd be bent
my
back in a
wrist
weird
or
way.
but it's like it wasn't my hand, so I couldn't. So I had no. This thing was like kind of useless. I had a tail. I had horns. I had all this hair. So I just had all these things that I like couldn't use.
Yeah.
And it became
Accoutrement.
so frustrating. Like I had to ride a horse in it.
Oh, boy.
And I had to ride a horse with my left hand.
Oh, geez.
My right hand would work on it, like to seem like I was riding
To
it.
maybe pet the horse.
Exactly.
Right.
But I had to do everything functional wise with my left hand on a fucking horse.
With a tail, too. Where's the tail?
The tail kind of comes out the back and goes on
I
the
would
horse,
imagine stick
and
up.
this body that was and the horse itself was like kind of afraid of me.
I would hope
like,
so,
didn't
yeah.
like the look of me. We were fine in rehearsals, but yeah, there was like crazy, crazy. Like, and so there was one sequence where I think we're in like a helicopter or something, and I just like storm off to like the back, and I like sit on this bench, and I'm like kind of curled up on this bench, and I remember they were like, just when your trench coat falls, like, can we make because we want to hide this. And then at one point, like the tail was like and they were like, can we just make sure when you sit, like that your tail, and I was like, no. Yeah. I was like, no, we do it without I've got a hand, I can't move, and I got just one thing I want to be able to do.
Yes.
Yeah. But, in that way, too, like, it was also... I mean, it's also really fun.
It's just a full commitment thing, right?
It's a full commitment.
You got to buy in yourself, or no one else is going to.
And the funny thing about it is, you'd think that like you would be doing less, like being sillier with it or something. And actually, it was the opposite. Like, I had to be more serious than I was with Stranger Things. Like, I had to be
a hero,
like,
right?
Detailed in my psychological work, like detailed to the point of like I had to make this world like make sense.
Now, I don't know if you're talking about the same technique. And again, I didn't go to acting school, but I remember I had an audition for, and I'm going to let you go. It's been a long time.
Don't let me go. This is fun.
I had an audition for like a movie that I think was Airbender or something.
Oh yeah.
The Last
Oh wait.
The Last Airbender.
Oh, I auditioned for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
it was M. Night.
Yes, it was.
I auditioned for like a bad guy, I think.
I auditioned for a guy who had caught a bad guy, but the bad guy, to my understanding,
we could have met years ago on the
set
last
of Airbender.
Airbender.
I was having, like, first of all, I didn't understand what I was as an airbender. I didn't know what that meant, right? And I had captured a guy, and I'm saying all this weird airbender talk. I don't know what any of it means. The lines, I don't know what it actually means. Saying silly words that are made up. They're kind of sci-fi sounding, and the guy's guilty of something so bizarre I can't relate to it, right? And I just kept reading this and memorizing these weird lines, and I'm just getting nowhere with the whole thing, right? And my trick ended up being, this was before we got Osama bin Laden. I was like, ooh, if I happened to just fucking bump into Osama bin Laden and got him in my garage, how would I feel while I was talking to him, And then so I started.
What is this?
Well, I would take
process?
a sadistic pleasure in torturing that guy.
Yeah.
I would enjoy the fuck out of that.
Okay.
And so I just kind of mapped on my fantasy of capturing Osama bin Laden. Also, I did 2 USO tours in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Where I had convinced myself I was going to catch Osama bin Laden. So it's not even like it was that far out of my own imagination.
I love that you think you're going USO.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just
I'm
gonna,
just the guy to do it.
It's perfect.
Well, because I'm going to disarm him with my comedy.
Of course.
And I know I can beat the shit out of that guy. So there's more reasons to believe I could do it than not.
Oh, God bless you. I wish we'd sent you over sooner.
So I did okay in that audition because I was just talking to Osama bin Laden the whole time. So that was my trick, and I realized that that's actually a technique, right? It's got a name.
Sure, personalization. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So were you doing a bit of that with the world? And if you were, what were you anchoring the world into?
Like a ton. But also like I thought it was so fascinating. And I'll tell you, for example, a terrible idea I had that doesn't make it into the movie. Any Hellboy fans that are listening, thank God it doesn't make it into the movie. But it was an interesting exercise, right? Like, Hellboy is a creature who is spawned by Nazi occultists.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
By this guy. Rasputin is working for Nazi occultists, and he spawns a creature into the world that is to become the beast of the apocalypse and to end the world for Hitler.
Okay.
And just at the moment that Hellboy is spawned, this guy, Broom, and his men of Allied forces come and storm the castle sort of to kill this thing.
Yeah.
And they kill all the Nazis, and he sees this thing, and he thinks it's kind of beautiful and has a sweet heart, and so he raises Hellboy.
Okay.
But he raises Hellboy as his own to fight crime, to fight monsters or whatever.
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's still meant to be the beast of the apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
But he himself really doesn't want to be because he's a nice guy. But he's an adoptee. Mm-hmm. And theoretically, English isn't his first language, right? Mm-hmm. Theoretically, demonic is his first language, and he acquires English
Okay.
as he's with Professor Broom. The also interesting thing, so I did a ton of language work with a guy, like a language coach. This guy I found from like Wired magazine. This guy who's kind of brilliant.
So one of these guys that's made up his own language or something.
No, but he actually, God, I'm forgetting his name right now. I wish I forget. But if you go on like Wired.com or something, you could see he analyzes a bunch of people's accents in movies.
Oh.
Like he does like Heath Ledger's Joker. He does like and he does like 200 of them in this video. And he analyzes kind of like what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, blah, blah. It's like, it's crazy. And I was like, I want to get this guy.
Yeah.
Like I want to work with this guy. And he was like a lovely guy and super smart. And we went into these heady places that were so cool, where basically in the movie, like Hellboy talks like a normal dude, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a British accent, which is interesting because his father's British, or his adopted father's British. But apparently you don't learn your accent from your parents.
Your peers.
Yeah. So his peers are international, and also from your idols. So the thing that I was like interested in was, I was like, what if this is some crazy language that like a French speaker, like my friend Tom grew up in Indiana or whatever, but he's from Paris. Like he was born in Paris and he moved to Indiana when he was like 3. So he talks like an American, but occasionally he'll say like, the coco.
Yeah,
Just
right.
goes into like a French accent.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if when Hellboy's talking, like he just talks like a normal guy, but then he says this word that's demonic and he's like,
The
You
way
know, and
newscasters pronounce Latino names.
Exactly.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I
yeah.
just wanted it to be like this casual conversation thing where it just like this demonic just comes out of him. And we sort of, me and this dude like came up with this entire, not an entire language, but basically like a way of speaking with these certain syllables and these certain phrases for that one phrase. And we were thinking that maybe at some point I would say some other word, but just basically for that one phrase. And we did like all this work, and then like we were like, nah, it's kind of crazy. Let's scrap it all. But like,
wow.
But it did inform. Like that was the thing where like I was just sort of exploring all these different threads. Where like the comic was a certain thing,
Yeah.
And then I was like, there's a lot of stuff to explore here around this,
Yeah.
and then hopefully, like that's a lot of what my process is like, you just explore everything around it,
Yeah.
and then when you're in it,
Something just happens.
well, you just have so much material that it's not anymore about one specific thing. It's about like 100. And you could sort of pull from any one at any given time.
Right. Look, I am very grateful there are actors like you. I like what you just described and how I do things are so different. And I have an immense gratitude that there are people that do it the way you do and take
thanks.
that journey, because watching you is that much more fun, and it's palpable that you have all that stuff going on.
Oh, thanks.
Because we didn't even talk about Kay Bell.
Oh,
who you knew in her infancy.
Yeah, totally.
You were around her as a young college student.
Totally. No. It was first in New York.
Right. She was going to NYU.
Well, maybe she was, but is she younger than us?
5 years younger.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I was already on. I was doing that Tom Stoppard play.
You were about to get sober.
I was doing that exactly. I was doing that I was yelling at Tom Stoppard,
letting him know what
and
he
then
wrote.
seeing Kay Bell in the hallway.
Yeah. She was doing
She
the
was doing
Crucible
Tom
or something?
Sawyer,
Oh, Tom Sawyer.
I think. She was like.
But in a nutshell, did you think when she was 19, what did you think?
No, I just remember that like she was dating a guy, this guy Neil. Who, so Neil, like we were doing this show and like we were all, Neil was like an understudy. Like Neil was like, didn't have a part in the show really.
He
like
had a great seat to a
little tiny bar, but we all had like real parts, and he was dating this like, and we weren't dating anyone. We didn't have any cute like, and he had this like super cute girlfriend who was in Tom Sawyer. She was like a lead in that show. She was like, I think so. I think we were less interested in her and more interested in like what Neil was doing or the injustice of it all.
Yeah, what cologne Neil wore.
Exactly. Like what kind of game do you have that you can pull this off?
He was most certainly wearing Dakar. or Polo.
Drakkar.
Oh,
I believe
Drakkar,
it's
I'm sorry.
Drakkar Noir.
Drakkar
I only
Noir.
know because I've worn ripoffs of it for most of my life.
Sure.
No, Eternity for Men. That was another big one.
Oh,
Do
sure.
you remember that one?
Yeah, I
That
went
was
with
good.
Obsession because my father had it, and I would just spray myself occasionally to seem more sophisticated.
But no, yeah. So K-Bell was, I just remember her being like lovely and really pretty, and then you know that weird thing where like you're with a group of actors or a group of people, and they're all doing sort of plays, and then somebody just like breaks out and like has her own. Didn't she have her own TV show?
Oh, Veronica Mars.
Yeah, Veronica Mars shows up, and it's like a successful television show with her as the lead.
Yeah.
And so you're just angry.
Sure. Yeah. More injustice. Yeah.
Just
If you were
another
5'1"
person
with blonde hair.
Yeah, another person to be furious at.
That's right. I love you, David Harbour.
love
Please
you too,
come
man.
back.
This is fun.
So pumped about our shared sobriety.
Yeah, this is great. This has been a very nice time. Thank you, man.
Peace.
And now begins my favorite part of the show, Fact Check with Monica Fatman. Your facts are on my list because your facts are on my list. Turn out the lights. Do you even know what song I'm referencing there?
Yeah.
You do?
Your kiss.
Yes,
is on
because your
my
kiss,
lips.
your kiss. Hall & Oates, Daryl Hall and John Oates. Top 3 band for me.
Yeah, you love them.
Obsessed. Because your facts are on my list. See, I blew it right there. Because your facts are on my list. Fucking turn out the lights.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Are you proud of yourself?
Every 25th note I get,
Yeah, that's
I
good.
hit it.
That's pretty-
What kind of facts we got today?
Okay, we have
Are
some-
they tasty? Should I put on a bib for these facts?
Yeah, you're gonna be drooling.
I'm going to be
all over these
slathered
facts.
with facts.
Okay, so you said that you were like, maybe this is like the 50th interview, and David is our 29th guest.
That has aired.
That's aired, but
Yeah.
even still, not 50.
No. All right.
Maybe in the 30s,
40?
high 30s. I
No,
would
we
say.
have 10 in the can. Fuck you,
So
Rob.
there, I'm right.
Rob's like with Kristen with the notes.
36.
36. I feel far less accomplished now. I was strutting around town going like, I really bagged a few guests. I really put
Oh
some.
my
I put
God.
some meat.
I'm glad we're putting you in your place.
I
then.
put some meat in the freezer. That's a good thing to feel good about work, like
I know,
non-laziness.
but strutting around town on it.
Well, productivity. I think the goal in life is to strut around town.
Really?
But to anchor it in something that is esteem worthy.
That's
And
interesting.
I think like shouldn't you like when I see people in the car,
Mm-hmm.
there's something about the car, it's this little force field, and I'll see people dancing to music, and people hit a 10 in their car all the time. I do.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the goal, isn't it? It's just to spike that feeling of like, I'm feeling, because you'll see people, you can tell they're feeling sexy too, which is a hard place to get to where you're like, I'm desirable as fuck, or at least it is for me. And I'll see people sexy dancing in their car, and I'm like, they feel so attractive, and I'm delighted to witness it.
Yeah. But that's an external thing. There's music, and then they're having fun listening to the music.
There's motion,
I don't think they're feeling like.
blinking lights from the turn signals. You don't think they're feeling sexy?
I don't think they're feeling like
They're the
great
shit?
about themselves. Yeah, I think they're just having fun. They're just in bliss. But that's not.
I do. Like if you're in your car and you click into a certain dance move and it just starts burbling your self-esteem. You've never had it?
No. I mean, I've had a lot of joy doing that, but it doesn't give me self-esteem. It doesn't make me feel like I'm
A sex machine.
special or good because I can do that.
Okay, I've felt hot in the car, like
All right.
listening to Michael Jackson or something, and it comes on, and then I get sucked into the song.
But then you
Like
internalize
PYT,
it
like
and make it.
PYT, pretty young thing. I want to love you. And if I start jamming, I'm like, fuck, I want to love you. Like I feel like I'm Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Like I have the dance moves and the outfits, onwards and upwards. So what did I do wrong?
Okay.
I haven't done 50. Yeah, that was an exaggeration.
You haven't done 50 now.
And I'm not going to strut around town today. I'm more going to just kind of slither.
You don't have
Slink
to.
and
It doesn't
slither.
have to be that. It doesn't have to be so polar. It doesn't have to be either you hate yourself or you just can't get enough of yourself.
36 is a total abject failure, and 50 is a home run.
Oh my God. All right. You asked if dipping your beak into the honey jar is a saying. And I found no evidence that that's a saying. But there are some other interesting.
It's a honey pot, right? Like hand in the honey pot.
Even that, I was looking, and even that was hard to find. Although there's some dirty stuff with honey dipping.
Oh, naughty stuff. What does
Yeah,
honey dipping mean?
It's pretty dirty.
This is your opportunity to educate me, like I did with ATM.
I know. Well, there were a few things. One honey dipping term on Urban Dictionary
Okay.
was
UD.
when a girl puts her fingers in her
Self. Okay, great.
and then gives her neighbor a taste.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that there's it holds logically.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely. And that's called what? A honey dip? Or
Honey dipping. There's some other sexual
Okay.
quotes.
I do want to put it out there from a man's perspective. I think any guy who got honey dipped on any given day, laying in bed that night, chalk it up to a victory. A good day.
And then they're going to be full of self-esteem and strutting around town.
They'll be strutting
on
around
it.
their bed.
Ugh.
Why don't you want people to feel great and strut
I
around?
do want-
There's a difference between
No, that's
feeling good and arrogant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think strutting around implies arrogance, and feeling good about yourself, feeling good is just feeling good.
Well, what's that walk called?
Regular walking. Why do you have to strut and show and like be so you're this like open bravado?
Because we need an adjective to describe walking around town with burbling self-esteem. So what would you call that? I think you got to call it strutting.
Why does it
You
have
can
to
say-
be outward? You can have good self-esteem.
I'm talking shoulders back, chin up high, feeling good. feeling confident, feeling like you can tackle everything in front of you. What's that walk called? I think that's strutting. I got a. Did you ever? You're probably too young. Did you ever see Saturday Night Fever
No,
with
I didn't see it.
our man John Travolta?
I didn't see
The
it.
way he's walking down the street, he has his insecurities. You know, he lives at home with his parents. He's not crushing it financially. But in those moments when he's walking with a leather jacket and his hair is styled to perfection, he's just exuding happiness. I think there's even a line in the movie. She's like, "What do you feel like doing?" He's like, "I feel like strutting." Like he wanted to go out and strut.
Right.
But I don't think he was arrogant.
Are you sure? Are you sure he wasn't compensating for all this stuff and needing this outward show of like I'm good?
No, I think that was he was a dolphin in those streets. Those New York streets were his water. Like that's where he had flow.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so a chicken hawk.
Yeah, chicken hawk.
A chicken hawk is a very weird looking animal. I looked it up. We'll probably post a picture.
Okay.
It's a hawk of a type that is, right? It's kind of regular hawk, just preys on domestic fowl, but it's also a person who speaks out in support of war, yet has avoided active military service. So that's a chicken
There's a
hawk
lot of those
too.
folks.
So the highest an odometer can go to, because he said he thought that there was 1 million miles on his car, but he didn't know.
Turned over.
Rolled over, yeah. That's all dependent on how many digits your odometer has, obviously. Some have, many old cars had
5.
5, but then 6.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, 6, not 5.
Yeah, well, some did have 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then 6, and would roll over at 100,000.
But none have 7, do they? Have? Well, I guess now everything's digital, so it's infinite.
Then it's infinite. Well, no.
Although not even that, because you are limited in how many little pixels there are behind there. But presumably, yeah, they could go into the millions now.
Oh, yeah. In 2013, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, this guy, Irvin Gordon, clocked his 3 millionth mile.
In a Toyota?
No, in a Volvo.
Really?
1966 Volvo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a Volvo is what David was talking about.
I love how you say that name.
Volvo?
Yeah, Volvo.
What is it?
I say Volvo.
Oh, I think,
Like,
you say it funny.
But yeah.
Say it again?
Perhaps. Volvo. Well, now I can't say that. He drives a Volvo. Yeah,
What's
that's
happening?
how I say it. Yeah.
What is happening?
I used to really like that Volvo station wagon.
It sounds like you're adding an L to the end.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Say
But
it
I'm
again.
not. Volvo.
Volvo.
Volvo. But you say Volvo.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're right. Yeah, I'm not making any.
I mean, you're
done
probably right because you're more into cars, but
Well, I bet you're right, and I bet also us gearheads say it wrong. But I don't think I've ever heard anyone say Volvo.
really?
Yeah.
You hear Volvo.
I don't even know. Did our guest say Volvo?
A Volvo.
A Volvo.
Volvo.
We'll careful because you're dancing around vulva.
I know. We had a band in college, me and some girlfriends. It was a rock band.
It
It
like
wasn't
the
a
video
real,
game.
Yes, it
Yeah,
wasn't a real
okay.
band, but we were a band, and two of us had CRVs, and our other friend had a Volvo, and our band was called CR Volvos.
CR Volvos,
Yeah,
but not with a U. With an
but
O.
that was the trick. That was
That was
the
the big
double
trick.
entendre.
As in
CR
SEE
Volvos.
OUR.
CR
Yeah.
Volvos.
Oh, great. I just got it. It took me a minute.
I know, you laughed like it made no sense, and it does make sense.
It makes a tremendous amount of sense.
It was a good girl band name. Because we all have vulvas.
Yeah, that. You hope.
Volvo. Anyway, so... Okay, some interesting stuff about airplanes.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yeah, I was taking some big swings on that airplane stuff.
You were. Okay, when an airplane hits the runway, you said it's about 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And then they fly at 550.
Yeah.
And a commercial Boeing generally does cruise from between 550 and 6. So that part was correct.
Great.
Okay, so it's all dependent on like a billion factors.
Headwind. Tailwind.
Wind, weight of the airplane, all of these things. So it's just to pick a random scenario. Let's say you're taking off from an airport at sea level, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, with 10% of flaps in a 747 with a General Electric CF6 engines on a calm day with no winds on a normal dry runway with no upslope or downslope, and the airplane weighs 350,000 pounds gross. In that case, your airplane would rotate at 164 knots, 189 miles per hour.
For takeoff.
Landing is about 10 knots under your takeoff.
Okay.
So in this case,
It'd be 150.
154.
154.
And so it'd be, between 150 and 170
for landing
for landing. Yeah.
in that scenario.
Yeah. But it said also if you're taking off from an airport 8,000 feet above sea level, let's say in Colorado, on a hot 100-degree day.
Can I guess?
Sure.
You got to go faster because the wind's thinner up, or the air's thinner up there.
So what's your guess?
That you have to go faster. So I'd say like 200 miles an hour.
209, yeah. So, why do the flaps on the airplane come up? Extending the wing flaps increases the camber or curvature of the wing, raising the maximum lift coefficient or the upper limit to the lift a wing can generate. This allows the aircraft to generate the required lift at a lower speed, reducing the stalling speed of the aircraft, and therefore also the minimum speed at which the aircraft will safely remain in flight.
Oh, so that makes sense. Because they have to slow it down, and by slowing it down, the wing's creating less lift, and they don't want to fall like a rock. They put those flaps up, which increases lift at a lower speed. So it's really they're not trying to slow it down with that as much as create lift so they can softly float back down. Okay, so I was wrong about that, but that's interesting.
Yeah. The microwave oven. You said you gave the anecdote about the plane and all of that.
Radar equipment in the nose.
Yes. But, and maybe that's true, I think there's maybe some different ideas floating around about what happened. But the guy who basically invented the present day microwave, basically, Percy Spencer, there was an article in Reader's Digest in 1958, and his anecdote is, One day, a dozen years ago, Spencer was visiting a lab where magnetrons, the power tubes of radar sets, were being tested. Suddenly, he felt a peanut bar start to cook in his pocket. Other scientists had noticed this phenomenon, but Spencer itched to know more about it. He sent a boy out for a package of popcorn. When he held it near a magnetron, popcorn exploded all over the lab. Next morning, he brought in a kettle, cut a hole in the side, and put an uncooked egg in its shell into the pot. Then he moved a magnetron against the hole and turned on the juice. A skeptical engineer peeked over the top of the pot just in time to catch a face full of cooked egg.
Oh, wow.
The reason, the yolk cooked faster than the outside, causing the egg to burst.
Wow.
So that's also
That's where the man who invented it is claiming he got the idea.
Yes, but
which
it could.
he probably is correct.
He might be, or he
All
could
these
be
things-
lying.
Well, all these things could be. Well, that's true to protect the litigants.
Yeah.
In a civil suit against the airline for their
Correct.
microwave radar equipment.
We don't know how ethical he is.
We don't. But I bet he's telling the truth. And I bet also some guys got their insides cooked before they understood microwaves.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Ew. Can you imagine?
I simply can't. But I always think my assumption, I don't know enough about biology to know this, but my assumption is that you don't really have any nerve endings in your organs. So it's not like you'd feel your organs cooking. It would have to be like the organs themselves radiating enough heat to get to your skin or something. But again, I could be wrong, but I don't think like if they cut your spleen that you would feel that cut per se. You'd feel them going through your abdomen and stuff, but I just don't know that there's nerve endings in your organs.
I guess that's true because if you have mono and you have a extended spleen,
You don't feel that.
yeah, you don't feel it. That's why it's dangerous.
Yeah. Or I think people can have lacerated livers and stuff, and they don't know it until they get other symptoms like septic or something, and then they go in there and go, "Oh, you split this fucker a couple months ago."
Ew, yeah, interesting.
I love when this turns into a science class. It's so fun with neither person knowing a tremendous
But
amount.
don't you think if the water in your body was boiling, you would feel discomfort
Like you had to fart?
or like really bad stomach pain?
Yeah, I would think that.
Like cramp, it would at least feel like
Cramps.
cramping.
Yeah, I think you should get some light cramps. But I don't think you'd feel heat coming out of your liver.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Tom Stoppard, you didn't know Tom Stoppard.
still don't.
He
he was a playwright?
Very famous playwright. Excuse me.
Bless you.
It was a cough. All of my coughs sound like sneezes.
They do.
It's so embarrassing because everyone always says bless you, and I never know if I should correct them. I'm obviously going to correct you, but
Just take the blessing and keep it moving.
I
I
do,
think.
but it feels fraudulent.
Yeah, I could see where you'd feel like a fraud.
Why does it sound like that?
I don't know.
So anyway, he's a very famous playwright. Very famous. We had to read him in school.
So famous.
It was so famous. He's a sir.
Oh, so he's an English fella?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Czech born, but a British
Resident.
person. Yes. And I think for me, his most famous play is Arcadia, but he has other ones too. And then, yeah, he's written some movies and stuff. And he's received 1 Academy Award and 4 Tony Awards.
What was the Academy Award for?
I believe Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know for sure.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Even though it had 2 words in the title that were off-putting to me as a young boy.
Sure.
Like Shakespeare, no thank you. Love, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Honey dip, bring it on. But I saw it despite that and loved it.
Yeah, it's a good...
Wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck.
Oh, Benjamin Affleck.
Yeah, that's why I saw it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That holds up.
I think they were dating at that time.
Ooh, on-screen, off-screen.
Yeah. I would like some
That's how they had that
on-screen, off-screen with him.
Great chemistry.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd have great chemistry with BA?
I think so, yeah.
You do.
Yeah, because I have such a history in my brain.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, when
I
you
hope so.
when you fantasize about interacting with him, there's always been a lot of sparks flying.
Sure.
Yeah.
What would be the point of a fantasy if there were no sparks?
I feel like I have some that are realistic. Like I'm like, oh, Alicia Vikander, ex machina, Vikander, ex machina. I'm like, oh, I bump into her. Like first, so it starts with like, I bump into her at some party.
Okay.
Oh, she looks like that. And then I'm like, hi. And then I see on her face, she has zero idea who I am.
Okay.
And I'm just a big lanky doofus that's a 6. Unless you know who I am, then I go up to maybe a 7.5. But in my fantasy, I go, oh yeah, she just looks at me and is like, who's this guy? Is he parking cars and he found his way in?
And that's the end of the
Yeah.
fantasy? It doesn't...
Yeah,
it
like I
doesn't-
would never be able to masturbate to Alicia Vikander.
Oh my God. Well, first...
Because it would be
You
so
haven't even
implausible.
taken the time to learn her name. You have to
Well,
put
your
in some
your crush is
time.
Ben Affleck. I could definitely get that. This gal's name has
Alicia
got
Vikander.
25 consonants in it. What is it? Vikander.
Alicia Vikander. But listen,
Okay. I can say Alicia.
You can't expect her, even in your fantasy, to fall in love with you if you don't even know her name.
But what if I call her AV, like a cute nickname right out of the gates, like
No.
audio video?
She's not gonna like it. Even the fantasy version is not gonna like it if you don't even know her name.
All right.
Okay, step 1, learn her name.
Alicia
Uh-huh.
Viclander.
No, Vikander. You're adding an L.
Like I
It's
did
easier.
on Volvo.
Yeah, that's right. It's easier than what? It's the same thing with Vietnamese. You're making everything a little bit harder for yourself. So,
Yeah, I guess if there's more than like 7 letters in anything, I just start seeing like a ton of letters
Yeah, you're
in
just
my
throwing
head.
all the
yeah,
letters
Yeah,
at
like
it.
when I picture her last name in my head mentally, it looks like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
so how would you pronounce the girl in the movie we watched last night?
Well, first of all, I don't know her name.
Oh, another one you don't know her name, but you fantasize about.
No, I don't.
Never?
Oh, the one. Yes, the
not-
the mistress, not
Yeah.
the lead.
We
yeah.
watched Gone Girl last night for our
Yes.
listeners, and because we both enjoy that movie very much. Speaking of Ben Affleck,
Yeah, it works on a lot of levels for us because I have a, David Fincher, the director, I'm obsessed with.
Yes,
and you
I also
also
love
like
him.
him a lot
Yeah.
too. And then you're getting Ben
some eye
Affleck,
candy, some mind candy,
a side of eye candy.
Some
But yeah, the gal from the video,
yes,
Reykjavik, Rishri Reykjavik,
Emily
Rashnowski.
Radajkowski, I think. Even I have a hard time with her, but I'm not fantasizing about her, so I don't feel like I need to learn it really.
Emily Radajkowski.
Radajkowski. I
Well,
think.
and maybe this is
maybe I'm wrong.
This is why my Alicia Vikander the fantasy doesn't go far, because I met Emily Rajowski at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and we were both stuck like in a holding pattern waiting for cars to arrive or something. So we were next to each other for a good 20 minutes, and she was with her dad, and I like talked to her dad a bunch. And I talked to her, and I could just see on her face, I look like a white-lined sheet of paper in front of her. Like I was of zero interest to her. And so I've seen that look on someone's face, and so I can quite easily transpose it onto Alicia Vikander's.
You said it.
Thank you.
Good job.
Well, we worked on it a lot.
Yeah. But don't you but that's kind of step 1 in the fantasy, but you could make it like even more fun because she doesn't know you, and then
I got to win her over. Well,
know
that's
you.
really, yes. So that is part of any fantasy I normally concoct. But I'm telling you, this Emily gal, I was sprinkling as much fairy dust as I have, and there was she just was not buying what I was selling.
All
like
right.
and I assume Alicia.
You shouldn't
Vikander.
assume in your fantasy.
Okay.
You let your fantasy just be.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah, I should assume she just binged Parenthood
Yeah.
when I bump into her.
Well, it doesn't have to be that. She doesn't have to know you already from being famous.
She kind of does, because I'm not very good looking. So I can't just walk up to her. I could walk up to her. You know what? If I met her on a dance floor, my odds go up significantly. So maybe I'll start fantasizing about bumping into her at Studio 54, circa 81.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous for you to think that your likability lies in like your work, because it's not true.
No. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with being famous. It has to do with you get to know my personality through my work.
Yeah,
and you
but
might like my personality.
Sure.
So I just want to be very clear. I don't think she'd be like, ooh, he's famous. She would go like, oh, that guy's offbeat or something.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
But she could get to know that in person pretty quick.
Yep.
And this is all fantasy.
This is all fantasy.
Okay, so... he talked about only child syndrome
Okay.
a little bit. And he had some ideas of, like, sort of what that is, which I thought were very interesting. I don't know if that is based in any research or if he's just decided sort of some of those
Well, he seemed to
things.
be a bit of a psychology historian. Like,
Yeah,
he
he's-
reads a lot of famous
he was
psychologists
so
and stuff.
smart.
Yeah, we love
Yeah,
Harbour.
really, really, really enjoyed him. The common thought on only child syndrome is like selfish,
narcissistic.
Yeah, like
Assholey.
really generally bad qualities.
Yeah, jerky, assholey.
Yeah. And then I was looking it up. This woman that had done a bunch of research on it, and it was interesting because she said that they tend to be very self-confident.
Okay.
Because they peer with adults. So
I got a hunch that she herself was an only child and set out to defend herself in this study.
I don't think that's
I have my
fair.
suspicions. Because why would someone be motivated to have that study?
I think it's fascinating. What do you mean? We talk about it all the time on this thing. Different sibling standings and stuff. So if we're interested, why can't somebody else be interested?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they tend to be they tend to be comfortable dealing with adult authorities and speaking up to adult authorities because they kind of have always put themselves on that level, which is interesting.
That makes sense. But what if her study concluded that only child syndrome, that the people were generally 5'8" and generally female and generally graduated from Brown? It was just a study of herself.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, but also they can be pretty hard on themselves because when they say to themselves, I'm in this family, I can have an equal say to my parents and equal standing. What they sometimes do is they apply equal standards and say I should be able to do as well as my parents, and then they get exaggerated standards of performance.
Oh, uh-huh.
So that's kind of interesting. So they
But I
push
had that
themselves pretty hard.
as a younger brother of someone who's 5 years older than me. Like, I was measuring all of my physical aptitude against a dude who was twice my age. Like,
Yeah.
he skateboarded or BMX'd or anything.
Right.
I was like,
but
I suck at this.
exactly. So I think everyone has that with their siblings, but it's extremely exaggerated if it's an adult.
Right, if there's a 30-year gap.
Yeah, exactly.
And your peer knows trigonometry or something.
But they're not very comfortable in conflict because they haven't had that much experience with it. Very valued possessions can become particularly important.
Because they're only friends.
Sometimes they have an attachment to things.
Right?
No,
Like if you're by yourself and you
guess.
only have your dolls and stuff or your fire engines, I could see where
and you're not having to share them. So it doesn't, they feel like very much yours, I think. So then they have a heightened value, I'm sure.
Oh, that's another good theory. We should publish our own paper on this. We're just sitting here figuring all this out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, they also statistically do a little better in school.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, though, it could be because parents have more resources and money if it's just one that they can, give to one. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Oh, David mentioned that Bill from AA talked to Carl Jung, and Carl Jung had said, like, there's just, like, nothing you can do. Really.
For alcoholism.
Yes, but I found the letter that Carl Jung wrote back, and
Oh,
he
cool.
does not say that there's nothing, but he definitely gives like a spiritual solution. It's like which is sort of what A ends up being. Yeah.
We suffer from a spiritual malady.
Yeah, so maybe he got that from Carl Jung, because Carl Jung said, I'm strongly convinced that the evil principle prevailing in this world leads the unrecognized spiritual need into perdition, if it is not counteracted either by real religious insight or by the protective wall of human community. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I like thinking of the protective wall of human community as spirituality.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think a lot of people who maybe are maybe questioning whether they want to stay religious, they then think by walking away from a conventional religion, they're giving up spirituality, and they don't really know how you can have it elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And so I like that the options stated.
Yeah, me too. You'd say a little bit about ADHD and bees. If anyone's interested in that, Joel McHale's episode. Joel McHale is the one that told us about that, and it's in that episode.
And then you substantiated it in his fact check. You gave the most concise,
I gave so
coherent,
much information about that.
easily
bee.
digestible explanation of that study in that fact check. So just check out that fact check.
So just listen to the fact, Joel McHale
You can
fact
even
check.
skip the Joel McHale episode and just listen to the fact check.
The Marlon Brando documentary is called Listen to Me, Marlon, and it's on Showtime, and it's great. Oh, he mentioned the Jewish ketubah, and the ketubah is a special type of Jewish prenup agreement. It's considered a part of a traditional Jewish marriage and outlines the rights and responsibilities of the groom in relation to the bride. So I did want to be clear about that. It's like what the man owes the woman.
Okay.
As opposed, because I don't want people to think it's like, which it sort of was being presented as like
A dowry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a dowry.
Yes.
I think I was positioning it as a dowry, having never heard of it.
Yeah, I think that's what we were sort of leaning towards.
And traditionally, when the women are leaving their tribe to join the males, they gotta give them a little money. You know, mm-hmm. I think it's more common that the bride comes with a small fortune.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very common. So that's why I wanted to be clear. Like, this is not that. The Jewish husband takes upon himself in the ketubah the obligation he will provide to his wife 3 major things: clothing, food, and conjugal relations. And also that he will pay her a pre-specified amount of cash in case of a divorce. Essentially dictates security and protection for the woman and her rights in the marriage. That's cool.
Yeah.
Paul Bloom is the psychologist that we talk about because we talk about this idea that the more, when you hear a story on the news, the more people, the less humans care, the less empathetic people are. And he gave an example that if there's a story about a girl in a well, people are like really up in arms and upset, and that's because you can map your own life onto that. So if you have a daughter, it's like that's your daughter. Mm-hmm. And if you add the brother in there, then if you don't have 2 kids, that becomes less connected to you. Mm-hmm. And then if you add 5 kids in there, it just becomes less and less something you can connect with, the more people that are involved in a tragedy, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. And he's been on Sam Harris a few times. Episode 14, The Virtues of Cold Blood. Episode 16, The Dark Side. And episode 56, Abusing Dolores.
And I think his very first appearance is my favorite.
He's so interesting. He said on one of them, I think about it all the time, that we have as humans a betrayal bias. So if something happens, if you're in a circumstance where you feel betrayed, the weight of that is so much heavier than an equally bad circumstance.
Yes.
Like...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the example he gave.
He gave an example, a malpractice suit, where... I forget the details, but essentially he was saying, like, if you go to the doctor and they, misdiagnose you and, you have a horrible time, a couple months of, like, dealing with this, and then you find out that you're fine, but it was an accident. It was a total misdiagnosis. Mm-hmm. Versus a situation where you go in and they misdiagnose you, but it's on purpose? Like there was some actual case of this where some doctor was like diagnosing people with cancer or something so he could like benefit.
Yeah, Sam brought up
financially.
that part of it because Sam's obsessed with that person. He uses that quite often as like the apex of
badness.
Evil.
Unethical behavior.
Yeah.
But he was saying like in those two circumstances, what you're experiencing is the same.
Right.
But it feels like much more of an actual betrayal, and so you weight that way.
It was
way
a
more.
doctor who was diagnosing people with cancer and then treating them for cancer and making them go
Right.
through chemo and all the shit to sell the stuff, and
Yeah.
they did not have cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
But you would still be doing that in a misdiagnosis
Mm-hmm.
that just happened to be an accident. But it feels way worse that this guy did it on purpose when really the outcome is the same.
Yeah, you're going through chemo for no reason.
Yeah. So we have this.
Outweighted.
Yeah, it's called betrayal bias, and I think about that a lot. It's interesting. Okay. So we talk about, you mentioned like the odds of getting killed by a terrorist, getting struck by lightning, school shooting. So the odds of becoming a lightning victim in the U.S. in any 1 year is 1 in 700,000. The odds of being struck in your lifetime is 1 in 3,000.
That seems high.
It seems high, a high probability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
kind of thought that too. I was like, it's happening
the-
more than.
I was thinking it was still way more like 1 in a million.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's not 3,000.
Yeah.
In your life.
That means if you led 3,000 lives, one of those lives, you'd be struck down by lightning.
Mm-hmm. The likelihood of an American being killed in an immigrant-initiated terrorist strike in any given year is 1 in 3.64 million.
Okay, so 36 divided by 7 is 5. Okay, 5 takes you to 35. You follow me? So it's 5 times less likely, more than 5 times less likely you'd be killed by a terrorist than struck by lightning.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes into the betrayal bias, because one is intentional and one is accidental, and that's why it feels so much
worse.
more important that we safeguard ourselves from the latter, even though we'd be better off building big lightning
structures.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That dovetailed perfectly. Did you plant that little seed so I could pick that yummy piece of coincidental fruit off?
I wish I could say I did. But I'm not going to
like-
strut around and say I did.
Okay,
Okay,
that's like Inception. You planted the seed and made me think it was my own idea. Well done, Manica Padman.
Okay, the statistical likelihood. I know people don't really want to hear this, but it came up.
No, they do.
Then they
the
should.
school shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. I think this is super relevant because when I see a school shooting, my thought is, okay, well, I'm not sending my kids to a public school. Like my reaction in my mind at that moment is that I'm homeschooling.
Right.
And I think that needs to be counteracted with some data.
Yeah.
As horrific as they are,
Yes.
let's hear some data.
Okay, the statistical likelihood of any given public school student being killed by a gun in school on any given day since 1999 is roughly 1 in 614 million.
Oh my God! So guys, just really think about that, because oh boy, let me do the math. This is going to be a big one. Let's just say it was 1 in 7,700,000. So yeah, your kid's going to get struck by lightning 10 times before they get shot at school. So that is really helpful. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be mobilized to prevent this, but it does mean when you're worrying at home, you should at least compare it to some other stuff. So no one's at home worrying about their kid getting struck by lightning at school, I don't believe. And just imagine now that your kid's going to get struck by lightning 10 times before they ever get shot at school.
And that's only
helpful.
in any 1 year, 700,000 for lightning. In your lifetime, it's 1 in 3,000. So your chances are much vastly higher of getting struck by lightning than.
Yeah, so that's 200,000. Your kid, I just did some fast math, and I hope someone will check this on a calculator, but I think your kid would get hit 200,000 times with lightning.
But listen,
That could be
I
wrong.
also wish, it also makes me question this whole idiom
Just really
that
quick,
we have.
that was not right. That was not right at all. That was not right. I needed to take 3 zeros off of 7 million.
Wait, 7. Where are you getting
We're making
7
we're
million?
making we're making 6.2 million, 7 million for ease.
What's 6.2 million?
Your kid had a 1 in 6.2 million chance of getting shot.
614 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not six.
Oh, so 700 million. Oh, so then I did do it correct. It's 200,000 times your kid would get struck by lightning. Whew. Once again, you led me down that path to make me shine. I thank you again.
Anyway. Oh, but I wish we weren't using this idiom all the time, like struck by lightning. Like it's kind of common.
Yeah, but it's a good idiom because no one's worried about getting struck by lightning.
I guess. That's
Yeah.
true. Okay, the movie Seth Rogen and David Harbour did together was The Green Hornet. That's how they know each other. Oh, okay. So he was saying it in hyperbole that there's a million shows on Netflix. This is in 2016. I tried to get an updated number, but my source is out of town.
Okay.
But
Because Monica has an insider at Netflix.
I do.
Yeah.
But she didn't provide. But in 2016, they had 1,197 TV series.
How many?
1,197. In 2016, and they have more now.
So your odds of getting hit by one of their shows is 3 times more likely than your lifetime odds of getting hit by lightning.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
no.
Okay.
I just want to compare 1,000 to 3,000.
Oh, okay. So you talked about in.
Oh my God, though, I just thought of something really fun. In any of your lightning strike research, did you find out how many lightning strikes there are in a year in America? Because wouldn't it be great if it was 1,000 per year? Your odds, if you live in America, of having your own TV show on Netflix are the same as your odds of getting hit by lightning because
my
there's the same
God.
amount.
True. Although we don't know the percentage of people who tried to get a show on Netflix and then did.
No,
That's the
but
problem.
suffice to say, 1,000 people on Netflix have their own show. Yeah, so if 1,000 people have shows on Netflix and 1,000 people got hit by lightning, your odds are the same if you live in America of having a show on Netflix
That's true.
as getting hit by lightning.
That's true. But also not true because you have to take into account so many factors, right? Lightning is so random, and getting a show on Netflix is not.
No
random.
one's ever gotten a phone call and they said, "Hey, this
Yeah.
is the Netflix Corporation. Good news, you've got your own show.
Wouldn't
Can
that
you
be
be in LA on
great?
Wednesday?"
I wish. That's my fantasy. The linguistic guy from Wired Magazine is David J. Peterson, and he created Dothraki and Valerian for Game of Thrones, which is cool. And Kristen was not the lead in Tom Sawyer because she wasn't Tom Sawyer, but she was Becky Thatcher, which is the female lead. And I asked her to confirm that, and I was like, were you the lead in Tom Sawyer? And she said, yeah, she was cast as Tom Sawyer, and then they realized that she was a girl, and they cast her as Becky Thatcher. And I believed her.
What?
And I almost, and this is dangerous, this is how good of an actress she is. It was on Marco Polo, so I could see her face, and it was very believable. And she's too good of an actress, and it could lead to some fake news.
Yeah.
So it's a problem.
That's great.
And that's all.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manica Padman.
Thank you, Dax.
Those were great facts,
Dax.
and I'm grateful for them. Love you.
Bye.